All right, y'all. I wanted to know how we felt about Druski's latest skit. What did y'all think about it? How did y'all feel? Likes, dislikes, takeaways. I, for one, thought it was hilarious and I thought it was spot on. I thought it was super funny. And so I just wanted to know what everybody else thought about it. Please do come up and feel free to share your opinions. Hey, Chad, is you still in here? Hope you're having a good day. How's everybody's day today? I thought it was funny. What did everybody think of the sketch? Hello, welcome. What did you think? Did you see Drewski's latest sketch? What did you think? Really? First of all, the title of the movie, Release the Shackles. Release the Shackles is hilarious because that's exactly what they would name it. That's exactly some shit they would name this. Release the Shackles. Oh my gosh. Hi, thank you so much for the likes. I want to know everybody's opinion on the on this latest sketch. I wanted to call it a movie, but it ain't a movie. What did everybody think of Drewski's latest sketch? Did y'all like it? Did you not like it? What was your takeaways? I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was spot on. I think it's just so funny how Drewski will pick these little nuanced conversations to do a sketch about that we be having in the Black community, and I find it to be like it's hilarious. Like no one's out there doing this. So yeah, what did y'all think of the sketch? I thought it was hilarious. And it's really sparked this conversation about the whole people coming over here working their jobs. I had a video go semi-viral like back in February where I had pointed out the fact that a lot of time Black British people think they're doing a good Black American accent, but oftentimes they're not. They're doing like a New York accent or like a California accent, but like they're not doing like the Black American. Our culture is so diverse. There's a lot of nuance in our accents. So a Black person from Louisiana is not going to sound like a Black person from New York, and they're not going to sound like a Black person from DC or from Baltimore. They're not going to sound like a Black person from LA, like, or Texas. Like, we all have a different accent, and then in each area is a different little lingo. We might have the same word and be using it completely different. Let's see, it got somebody coming up. Hello, welcome to the panel, love. What do you have to say about the sketch?
I just want to say that I live in Arkansas. I'm 44-year-old black woman, live in Arkansas, and I love like BBC America, Acorn TV. I love like British shows, Midsummer Murders, Agatha Christie Hour, Miss Marple, all that stuff or whatever. And one thing I will say is that I think Black British people, their history, culture, and stuff is very different from ours. So it's like it would be like me going to, I don't know, like Thailand or something like that, and then like of course obviously I don't look like Thai or whatever like that, but if I was playing like a Thai person or something like that, I think it's very different. So a lot of times they don't get it right. So it's almost like I want to say like almost a slap in the face a little bit because they don't really you can read all the books you want. If I go to another country or whatever, if I read about there's a lady who Isabella of Spain, she had a black lady in waiting. A lot of people don't know that, but she actually had a black lady in waiting. But I don't understand the culture. If I was playing like a black person who's playing her lady in waiting or whatever, I don't particularly understand the culture or whatever. I might not get the accents right or whatever. So my thing is that not Isabella of Spain, the one who married Henry VIII, his first wife, I forgot her name. But I just feel like I get it. I understand it. I know people say, well, everybody should be able to do and play and act and do whatever they want. That's fine and dandy. But it's almost to me, it's almost like if you took okay, perfect example. The chick who played I don't know her name. She played uh uh something Holiday. I can't think of her name. The light skinned lady, but they had to darken her skin and get her a wider nose and stuff. She's a biracial lady. She's half Hispanic. It would be like if somebody did that. It's almost kind of disrespectful. Just we understand. I think we as Black Americans understand the culture better, a little bit better. But I just that's just me personally.
Thanks for sharing your point of view, and I definitely get what you're saying. Um, y'all are sweet. I definitely understand what you're saying. Go ahead, Storm. Welcome to the panel. Please introduce yourself, and then what would you like to say up on this? Or
Oh, what's
you can
good,
reply
everybody?
to her, or you can say something to the topic.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think the Druski skits. I think they're funny. I think he's doing another. I think is he doing Kirk? He's gonna do someone else. At least I heard like plans of it. But I think it's funny. I think we should all just do that. Like, who cares? You know? I don't know how you guys feel about it on the other way around. I know there's some history that stems from that, but uh, today though, in modern times, I thought that was funny. I don't know why people got offended about it, but I guess I can see why. But I don't think it's that deep. I think it's pretty genuine.
See,
Okay, thank you for that. What were you gonna
Yeah.
say?
no, I was going to say that I watched a movie years ago. The guy who was in Star Wars, the main, not the old Star Wars, the new Star Wars, the black guy, I forgot his name. He was in a movie called Attack on the Black, Attack on the Block, or whatever. It was like an alien movie or whatever. And they were
Mhm.
supposed to be like quote unquote hood dudes or whatever. And he's British in real life, and it was so hilariously like we watched it. We watched it. I watched it with my brother, his ex-wife, the kids, or whatever. And it was so hilarious of them watching, trying to act like they was from the hood or whatever. And I was like, it was like they had a idea of what it was supposed to be like in hood, the quote unquote black hood or whatever and stuff. And we was just crying out. We was crying laughing because it was supposed to be serious, but it was just so it was it wasn't a bad movie, but it was just like it was very kind of like obvious. It'd be like if like how Family Guy made fun of Liam Neeson when Liam Neeson was playing like Liam Neeson. I think he's Irish. He was playing like a cowboy or whatever, and he couldn't get the accent right and stuff. And of course, Liam Neeson took it in stride or whatever because he worked with the dude that created Family Guy or whatever. But it was just so that to me kind of sums it up. Like, you have somebody from a different country trying to play somebody who's from, and I don't think they understand, like you said, I don't think they understand the different accents. I'm from Arkansas. Yeah, not everybody really has, an Arkansas accent, but a lot of us do. I wouldn't understand, like, if I was playing somebody from Baltimore or from Chicago or whatever, I mean, I think I would stand up like, y'all got some sweet tea or something like that. And people be like, where are you supposed to be from again? I'm from Chicago.
Have
That's
So,
you
what
guys seen
takes me out of it for me for a lot of the movies. Like I remember when I was watching Get Out, I kept being taken out of the movie because I kept trying to figure out where the lead character was from or supposed
yeah.
to be. I kept saying like, where is he from? Where is he supposed to be at right now? Is he supposed to be in California? Well, he don't have a California accent though. I was like, is this supposed to be in like New York or somewhere, upstate New York? Like, where is this movie supposed to be taking place at right now? I
Yeah,
kept
like
asking myself, and then when I looked up the credits and saw that he was British, I was like,
like
"Oh yeah, that's
yeah,
why. That's
have you
why I
guys
kept
seen
asking, where's this movie
uh
supposed to be taking place at? Why? Because I couldn't place his accent because he's not speaking in an actual Black American accent. He's speaking in like the American accent, Black American accent.
like
You know,
I'm
the
from
one that
yeah,
they
I'm
put in the
like
movies."
I'm from New York City. Y'all got some sweet tea. I was born and raised in New York City. Like it's so like they don't understand it, I guess.
have you guys seen the
Okay.
movie Tropic Thunder at all?
Yeah, hold on. I
Yeah.
have somebody new on the panel. I want to allow them an opportunity to speak. Hello.
Hi, I'm Miss I Can't Give Up and TikTok. This is for entertainment purposes. I'm from the South. I live down south, and my family is from the South. And there's a lot of skits that's been done over the years. There's a lot of false movies that's been put out, including Roots. And I would love to see Druski do a skit about all these mixed races they talking about down south that the BLK women had, YT men, baby. But some of them babies were had by YT women. That's the silence of it. I would love for Drewski to do a skit about that. Everything when it comes to BLK people is always funny. I heard the young man say a minute ago, I think it's funny. Yeah, it's so funny that some of them YT women had them BLK babies too from them BLK slaves. And the YT man put the baby out and made the BLK woman nurse them. See, all them babies that was being nursed by BLK women, some of them babies was birthed by YT women. That skit. Them the skits I want to see. See, it's strange that you can do film for over 100 years, but don't nobody talk about that YT woman. And all them BLK men she was going with, and all them BLK babies that she had by them BLK slaves. Don't nobody tell her skit. She's so quiet. I ain't never seen nobody go through slavery for 400 years, and the YT woman so silent.
Now, Miss, can I speak? I agree with everything you're saying, but
Come on,
I
tell
want
her
to make
story.
sure we clear on what the skit was about in the
I
video we talked
know
about.
what Druski skit was about. I want to do a skit. I want to do some skits about this YT woman from down south. She's been so quiet. They paint her picture and put it over the fireplace. I ain't never seen nobody talk about the YT woman's life for 400 years of slavery. Where was she at? Why was she so silent? I swear to you, if you can show me a book or a movie about that YT woman for 400 years, what was she doing?
I get you. You are right. But what does that got to do with this topic?
That's what he's saying. How do we feel about Druski latest skit? I just told you that.
Yeah, but you're talking. This is about Africans in the diaspora. What are you?
Yeah, you always talking about us. Let's talk about her.
He's not talking about us at all in this video. He's talking about Black British people.
Hey, are you new to my channel? Is this your first time watching me? Or maybe you've seen my content before. Ask yourself, are you subscribed? And if you're not subscribed, why haven't you? I could really use your support as I try to grow my content creation here on YouTube. So if you could take a couple of seconds and like this video and subscribe to my channel, I would truly appreciate it. And if I don't have your subscription this time, maybe drop in the comments to let me know what I can do to earn your subscription next time. I really am trying to hit 1,000 followers before the year is over, so I would appreciate your help on my journey to growth. So thank you again for watching. Bye-bye.
Woman, stop talking about us.
He's not talking about us at all in this video. This is about Black British people.
Let's talk about her. I know about that. They telling about our story too. They ain't from here. How they know? Why they gonna play us? That was right. He talking about how they go over there and get them to play us down here, and I agree. And my point is, you know them them other movies that's on Netflix and all. They got some British called Bridgerton or whatever it is. They was rocking around on them big old gowns and this, that, and third. Where's the YT woman in all these 400 years? She was from over there too now. Everybody always want to talk about the BLK woman, whether she from Britain or whether she from America. Where's the YT lady story?
Okay, ma'am. I can't give up. I love it. Let me let somebody else come into the conversation. Thank you so much. Go ahead. What is it? Last queen.
Hi, thank you for having me.
No problem.
I'm from the UK, and I thought it was one of the most hilarious things I've ever seen in my whole life. The way he addressed it without, being disrespectful to Black British people was so tasteful. He's so talented in the way he approaches the conversation. But what I find really I don't understand is the Americans are like, this is terrible. How could this happen? And I mean, we've got 4 British, real actors out there. And yes, they are doing, the big budget movies and things like that. But honestly, with all things being said, it is probably the funny after the can I say Erica Kirk on here? After that skit, this was probably one of the funniest things I think he's ever done, especially the way he switched, when he switched into doing the interviews, like he captured the way that British people speak. Like we're very reductive in the way we say things. The way he was like, I had to work with the producer and I had to do this. And it was very, very well done. Very well done. I don't think it would have been received well if it was a British person, making fun of Americans. I think that would have been, it wouldn't translate well. But the way he did it was fantastic. Honestly, it was so like it was funny. There was nothing like he sorry, I'm just yapping now. Sorry, I'm just yapping now.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I was gonna go to the next girl, but she drops. Hopefully she comes back. I think Master got up here next, and then it was Jewel, or is it Joel? I think that was who got up here last. Is it Gary or Greg? Hello, Mr. Clayman. Well, go ahead, Joel. You already off mute, so go ahead. Is it Joel or Joel?
Joel.
Joel, okay.
How do I feel about it? I think the skit's pretty funny. I mean, he got the accents, he got them wrong, but I don't know. I just find the skit funny.
Oh, y'all contradiction yourself because you got the accents wrong. Did he at least get like the cadence correct?
I mean, he did a good British accent, but he said he was from a place, but he did an accent that's like 500 miles
nailed
away
it.
from that.
I'm sorry.
Is that a
he
Manchester
nailed it.
accent? He said he was from Manchester, but he did like an English, like a London accent.
Okay. Well, I wouldn't know the nuances there, but yeah. Okay, we all agree that the sketch was funny, but do y'all? I think we all we're laughing at it differently because, like, I think you had said like, oh, I don't think this would go. It would be as funny if like it was a British person making fun of Americans, but we're not. He wasn't just pointing fun at the fact that it was British actors. It's just the fact that it's British American actors that they're always getting to play tragic slave roles or like gangsters and thugs. And it's pointing out how they use Black British people to make a mockery of our culture.
Yeah. I thought that's why
That's where I disagree.
So there
hold
could
on, can I just say,
could be a reverse because
I
the
think
reverse
that's
is
why
racist.
it was really, really tasteful in the way he addressed the serious topics. Look at the title alone. Look at the title. Nobody is keying and being like, haha, this is so hilarious. There is a message behind it. Look at the title of the skit. Like, it's just like obvious that he's trying to address why is it. And it's also not just about the actors alone. It's about the message of Hollywood as a whole. Why is it that the spotlight is put on? And then it's not about the film. It's not about the message. It will be about, they did a great American accent. How did you prepare for the film? Because, forget the message about what the film is about. It will be about. So yeah, I think he highlighted it brilliantly.
I mean, every actor has to prepare for their role, like do research.
Right, but the problem being is that when they say you're doing a great American accent, he's not really doing American accents. Like, y'all are not really sounding like Black Americans. You're doing the performance that white America has cultivated.
It's cosplay.
And so
That's
you guys are
interesting,
like
though.
cosplaying us because this is one of the reasons for me. One of the ways I can tell that an actor is not an American actor is when I start to question where they're from. When I can't figure out where the movie's supposed to take place by how they're speaking and by their mannerisms, that's when I start to go, oh, like I go and look up the actor and be like, oh, they're from British. Oh, okay, that makes sense. That's why I can't tell
But that's
where this is
interesting
supposed
because
to take place. Because Black people across America have different accents and we use different slangs and we have different ways of moving and our mannerisms are different from state to state to state.
You can't just put on an accent and then embody Black America. I think that's the message. And I think why, I'm sorry, Joel, but sorry to call you out. When you joined, you were like, he didn't do the accent correctly because it was Manchester. You think that's all you took?
Yeah, but that's interesting because when I read the comments, when I read the comments,
hold on, Joel.
Wait, let me speak.
Hold on, Joel. Let me finish my point. I promise you can kick back. I'm not trying to pander, but I'm being really serious. Even that, look, dead ass, that's AAVE. We don't say dead ass, but I'm saying this is a cultural moment and we need to learn. We need to genuinely learn. And he highlighted it in such a, he could have literally done it so differently and you lot would be crying. He could have
I
done it
doubt
with Erica
it.
Kirk, sparks flying, and called you lot out. The truth is, why is it that they leave the UK and go to Hollywood? Number one, why are they?
That's easy and
Hold on,
explainable.
Idris Elba has been acting since I was a kid, right? He got an MBE, which is he's a sir now, which is a contribution to the arts. What role has Idris Elba predominantly played? It's an American character. Most of his biggest, all his winning titles, he played American
Yeah, but he got his MBE
He's
for
never
activism.
portrayed.
Okay,
Hold on,
Joel,
let me finish. In his
She's
own,
misconstruing a lot of
he
things.
owns his own production company here in Hackney, here in London. He has campaigns. He does not make any films about. He made like one or two. I'm not gonna lie, he did self-produced. When he wants to play a British actor, it's self-produced. All his work is self-produced when he's playing himself. Everything where it's Hollywood, red carpet, he's playing American actor. Same with Idris. Sorry, not Idris. What's the other guy?
He's been in high budget British
All of
projects
them,
as well.
they play
But you gotta
American when they
understand, for
want to
example,
hit the stratosphere. Why is that? Because the UK, and we need to admit it, the money and the bigger roles and the exposure, and they want the clout. They don't care
yeah,
about
for
the
example,
stories
can I
of Black
speak now?
America. You lot don't care about the story of Black America. You care about the money because that's where
It's not even
Hollywood
that they
is.
care. I don't even think
okay,
it's that
so
they.
I want to let Joe reply to her, and then we need to let the new person come into the panel because I see she got stuff.
If you look at the film market industry, 26% of all films, like all films, come from America. 26% of the entire market is in one country. Britain contributes about 5%. Japan's about 4%. I think France is about 5% too. So obviously, when you're vying for like the biggest roles, you have to go to America. You have to compete with Americans. That's just what's gonna happen. It's the same way with the NBA. Like, for example, they recruit athletes from Europe. They recruit athletes from Africa. They recruit athletes from the Polynesian islands that are really, really tall, really, really big for the NFL. Also, I wanted to respond to what you said about the accents. How comes whenever they do like their first interview in like a British accent, they'll be like, "No way, he's British. I couldn't tell." But then you're saying it's like you can tell. But then why is it like you always can't tell?
What I said was that he does an American accent, so you can sound American, right? But you don't sound like the regions where these Black people you are pretending to be sound like.
Wait, can you give me an example?
The biggest example I'm gonna give you is Idris Elba himself, because his most prominent role was on The Wire, a very popular, very successful TV show that took place right here I live in the DMV, so 2 hours away from me is Baltimore. Never once in that show did he sound like he was from Baltimore. And the character that he played was a character who thought that he was too good to be from the hood. So he used to pretend to talk like he wasn't from the streets. So he played a character who pretends to not be from the streets. He never used a Baltimorean accent. And you can compare him to the other cast members who are actually from the Baltimore area, like Snoop, who is from Baltimore, born and raised. They sound nothing alike. Nothing alike at all. That man never sounded like he was from Baltimore. Did he sound American? Sure, he sounded American, but he ain't sound like he was from Baltimore. Never.
He never fit in The Wire. He never quite
That's interesting.
clicked.
Obviously,
And
I
he
can't tell
played
the
a
difference.
college-educated dude who thought he was too smart and was wearing suits and ties and was using big words. And the hood dude just to call him out all the time, like, nigga, you think you better than us because you use these big fancy words and you don't talk like us, but nigga, you from here too. We from the same neighborhood too. That's how they used to talk to his character. So my man's never sounded like he was from Baltimore. He just sound American. And to foreign people, someone cooking downstairs. Go ahead. I'm gonna let the new person come into the panel, and then I'm gonna mute myself while y'all talking. Go ahead.
Okay, so I feel like what was missing from the conversation about the point, like why the satire is funny. I did think that it was funny. However, I do think that he is calling out something that Black Americans have said before, and that is, why is it that we want everybody to play and exploit and benefit from Black American culture except for those people? It's like we'll buy it as entertainment from anybody else except when it's on or coming from the Black people that are represented. So could they have chosen another Black actress that was Black American to play Harriet Tubman other than, I think it was Cynthia Erivo?
Erivo, yeah.
They chose her not because they couldn't find talented Black American actresses that were the equivalent, but because we have an issue with the people who it's like they want to benefit from the Black American experience, but they don't want to recognize and allow us to represent ourselves or to see ourselves
They don't want
represented
to. What
in
it
that.
is, because I hear what you're trying to like, what you're trying to tease out, and I'm gonna just say it easy for everybody to grasp. They don't want to acknowledge that we Black Americans are the descendants of those people who did those amazing things.
Correct. Can I just
They
say
want to
something?
It's
try
just
to
the
act
I
erasure.
like
need to jump
they
in. The
don't know
Amazon
who
That's
did it.
Prime.
interesting
They
because
don't
if you look
know
at
Remember
like
on
who those
Amazon
descendants
Prime,
are.
there's
Hold on,
the
hold on. I'm sorry,
if you
last
look
queen
at
of the show.
overall
Please.
accomplishments,
And Joel, you
Forrest
too.
Whit
Y'all please meet yourselves, and I was just trying to clear because I heard what you was trying to say, and I just wanted to say it flatly so we all can get why they do that. They do not want to give any validity to the fact that we are the descendants of those people who had those amazing stories and did those amazing things. They want to continue to act like slavery was so long ago. They don't know who the descendants of those people are. That
And
was so
also,
long ago.
And
Go
also, I think
ahead.
it's an important distinction to make in our land is that they also don't want us to represent ourselves. Like I feel like the erasure and the exclusion of like
Yes.
everybody gets to run up and down except for us. Everybody gets to participate
Because
and dibble
everybody
and
gets to
dabble in and
pretend they're us.
out.
Because if they
Right.
let anybody
Because of
play
the
us,
power it
then
would give us
it's
to
not
know that, hey,
us.
this is right. Because how connected would you feel if you saw somebody that looked like you, that sounded like you, that came from where you came from, representing like these iconic cultural like
These
images of, I think
people.
even Martin Luther King was played by like
Yes,
a
he
British.
was.
Yeah,
And
and it's
I
just like
still
these
have
are,
not seen that movie to this day. I'm not gonna lie. Still ain't seen
but I
it.
think the
Damn.
fact that it's intentional is for me the distinction that I think that sometimes people miss that part, and that is the intentional part, is that we want to take from their culture and we do not want them to be able to feel like they can participate in it, but we want to benefit from being able to tell their stories absent of them. So again, it's more erasure because we're already taken out of our history. And then even if we could see ourselves represented in modern day, we need to see it from another lens because we can't let them tell their own stories. Like everybody loves the Michael Jackson movie because it's like, oh, it's his nephew. The fact that his nephew is the actor is the key thing, right? Because of how connected he is to the role and what he brings that's uniquely specific to him because he is a descendant of the family. So we're like, oh, he's so educated. You know, all of the things he does is all directly attributed to the fact that he is a Jackson. And of course he's talented. And of course it's the first time he's ever acted, but of course he would know how because he's a Jackson. And so it makes sense. And it adds like nuance and depth to the story because the person that he's depicting is someone who he's related to. And I feel like, yeah, they probably could have got better actors, but we appreciate a part of the story being the fact that the person telling the story and the main actor recreating the story has a personal connection to it. And
And
I think that that's something that they intentionally leave us out of
And I
in our land
appreciate
there.
you pointing that out. And it gives us an opportunity to shine and step into the light and be the center. And they do not want us to have that at all. And by continuing to act like it really doesn't matter who plays these roles, when best believe when it's time to play any of their historic roles, they're very intentional about who they select. They're very purposeful about making sure who they pick to play their historical figures. But then when it comes to us, it's, oh, well, it really don't matter. You know, it
wait,
really don't matter. So someone else got up here first. It's the person who was underneath Joel. You don't have a name. All you have is a picture of your very nice braids. And currently you're on coffee mode, which shows that you're away from the app. If you are still available, it is now your time to speak.
Wait, could you give me a minute, please?
Okay, we'll come back to you. Alexis, underneath them, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, and then we'll circle back to you. And if he's not ready, we'll go on to Becky. Go ahead, Alexis.
I wanted to say, I think Drewski was highlighting more
Uh,
of the discipline system that America does towards the Afro-American community. And that's really the bottom line of what he was discussing in that there is a tendency that America has this pattern where when they want to put consequences on Afro-American community, they'll outsource a workforce. A lot of people don't know that a lot of Black American actors and actresses are talking about how they're struggling to get jobs. And it is very common for them. This is not a ding towards Black British people per se, because there are many different actors and actresses, Black people, whether Black Caribbean, Black people from the continent of Africa, that have long been already in Hollywood. Black American people absolutely love somebody like Delroy Lindo. There's nothing from that. It's the fact that America is tired of Black American actors and actresses still fighting the discrimination in Hollywood. They're still arguing about the pay wage gap between their white counterparts. They're literally saying that they are having a hard time finding jobs. And the reality is that America has done this before. They did this during the Harlem Renaissance era as well. They outsource a workforce that they find to be docile and cheap. Now, I am not saying that Black British people are docile and cheap, but they know that the roles in the UK is limited for them. And I think the community is getting frustrated because America does this thing where they will force Black American people to fight and scrape to create a space for them. They'll have to fight to open a door. They'll have to fight to carve out a space for them to exist. And when they're still fighting to stop the discrimination, they tell them, now we're going to push you out. You've opened the space. Multiple different types of Black people all can come in here. And we've had many Black actors and actresses that are not Afro-American. Nia Long, Jada Pinkett Smith, Cicely Tyson, Sidney Poitier. It doesn't matter. But now we're tired of you running your mouth too much. So now we're going to go and get somebody else. And then the worst part about it is that they perpetuate the propaganda to that community. So now now that this community is being pushed out, they're also being met with disrespect. This is the whole, oh, well, the Black British people, they invest more in the arts than their theater and they're more skilled. It has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with the bootstrap myth. Oh, the Black American people, they're not that talented. They're not that skilled. They're not investing in the education of the arts. They're not this. And if you're regurgitating that, well, yeah, now we got a frustrating part. Now the two communities will not band up and fight together. This is something that they always do. So I think that he was just getting to the bottom line, and that's just a fact.
Thank you. And are you ready now?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
You're talking about. What's his name? The British actor you're talking about that played a character. Anyway, I want to give you an example of a American actor playing a character that's from a different continent. Nelson Mandela was played by Morgan Freeman. Are you aware of that?
I'm going to tell you why that's not the same thing. Ready for this?
How do you know this?
Because these are American productions made for Americans. We are
Can I
making
respond to that
movies
then?
for ourselves.
Can I respond to
So
that?
if we want to cast our own people to play movies that we are making for ourselves within our own country, that is what we can do. Now, if
Talisa,
the country where he is from, or the country where Nelson, South Africa, if they want to tell their story of Nelson Mandela and they want to use South African actors, they can do that.
wait, so
But
Talisa,
here in
when
America, we're making movies for ourselves.
when
Okay?
Marvel
We're
moves
not
to
really taking the only global consideration we take in is whether it's gonna make money over there or not. But we are not casting people based off of what the world and everybody else thinks should be playing our roles accurately.
Well, I
cool.
think
That's
you
not
have
how
So
to.
this
when Marvel
works.
leaves
And all the
Georgia
other
and
countries are
moves to
doing the same
England,
thing
does
in
that
their
mean
own
we
countries.
should have a monopoly over those roles? Because
Hold on. That is not your
Marvel's leaving
turn.
the United Kingdom.
It's not
I mean,
your
Marvel's
turn.
leaving the
I want to
US.
make sure that he's finished. Are you done?
No,
Can
I'm
you?
not
What is
done.
your name? I'm sorry.
My name's Gabriel.
You said Gable.
Gabriel.
Gabriel. Okay.
Yeah.
Were you done with your point, Gabriel? Are you okay
No,
with
I'm not done
Joel
with my point.
speaking?
My point is that the movie industry works
Yeah.
on. meritocracy. So basically, they hire the best people to do the work for them.
It's not a meritocracy.
You wouldn't agree that's a meritocracy?
No, there's nepotism in movies, sports, everything. Like, nothing's a meritocracy.
I wouldn't say it's a pure meritocracy, but it has some meritocracy aspects to it.
No.
Sorry, can I ask a question to my fellow young Brits here, Joel and Gabriel? Do you guys know Amazon Prime had a really disturbing slash groundbreaking series, which was called Them, and it was about 1950s America, and it was about racism. Do you know Ashley Thomas is a British actor?
I don't know who Ashley Thomas is.
He was in Top Boy. He's a brilliant actor. But do you not
what the
once
show you're
ask?
referring to.
Hold on. Let me finish. Do you not once ask yourself, why was Ashley Thomas cast for Amazon Prime to be the lead male character as a black man in Them, which is a story about depicting racism in 1950s America?
The thing is, I don't know who that is, so I can't speak on
Ashley
that.
Thomas was in Top Boy. Hello, Sully's cousin in Top Boy.
I still
That
don't
got
know who that
kidnapped
is.
in season 1.
Oh,
Ashley Thomas.
yeah, I know who you're referring to.
Yeah, he's the lead character in Amazon Prime, which I'm sure America's. You wouldn't know because you're British. You wouldn't watch something like that. Them was never even marketed to a British audience. It's a story about Black America. He's the lead. He did a great job, but he's a British man methodically acting as an American.
What does his nationality have to do with if he's casted or not?
Because Black American stories are important. This is why I think we need to listen more. Black British people are made up of different ethnicities. That's what makes us Black British. You're either African or you're Caribbean. Black Americans are Americans, and their stories are very different. It's not our story to tell. You as a
Wait, so
British
our stories
actor
are also there
should
to
not
tell?
take roles. Hold on, let me finish. You
So
should
why-
not take roles. You should not take roles that are culturally significant. Amazon Prime, them traumatized audiences. You wouldn't know that though
Whitaker
because
won
it
an
wasn't.
Oscar cosplaying an African. No disrespect, he's never been selected for another
You cannot
nomination.
cosplay an African when you are an African. When you are, listen,
Forrest
African
Whitaker
is
is
not
a
an
black
exclusive
American. He's
club.
not a
Every Black
continental
Africa
African.
is not
American
an.
is African, but not every African is a
Thank
Black
you.
American.
No,
That's
every.
not how
You
it
Go the
cannot
works.
have
other
the
way
Black American.
around.
There's a difference between
Joel,
being of African
Joel,
descent and
Joel,
being
let me put it this way.
continental
Hold
African.
on. Let me put it this way. You see how people from West London, in North London, I don't know where you're from. I'm assuming you're from London.
No, I'm from South London.
Exactly. You see how people from south of the river, how we have slight differences? I'm from West London. Me and you different, slightly different, right?
Yeah.
This is literally a tiny microorganism of a huger point. You cannot have a Black American experience and cosplay as a Black American and embody it. Them is a series. And I would actually encourage you to watch it because that would actually bring the point home. It's highly disturbing because the history of Black America is not just something you do for a day or 3 months or 6 months or a year and take it off and then go back to being you.
And
So
I
being
want to
African
drive
is?
back the point that Alexis brought out, which is the fact that the Hollywood system, white supremacy, is using Black British artists and other actors to undermine what Black American actors have been
factually
trying
wrong.
to fight for generations in a long time. And our problem is that y'all believe it. You guys have bought into the fact that white supremacy has told y'all that, we're hiring more of y'all because you're better than Black Americans.
Oh, I don't
And
believe
y'all
that.
have bought
Subconsciously,
into
yeah,
it.
that's the
Y'all bought
message.
into it.
That's
We're
That's
more
the
literally
message.
classically
wrong.
trained.
That's
We've got
literally
more
wrong.
skills. We've got more skills.
Yep.
We're more classically trained. We've got more
That's
educations. We've got more
literally
credits.
wrong.
That's why they're hiring us.
And what's
And not
disturbing?
realizing that, no, they're really hiring you to pitch you against Black Americans, to be like, you guys suck. You Black Americans, you guys are not as good as them. You Black Americans, you guys are lazy. You Black Americans. That is why they're hiring you. And y'all are drinking, eating it up.
Eating it up.
Wait, can I
Eating it
can
up.
I tell you something?
No,
person
Hold
I've
on.
ever
Let me
sorry.
finish because
Let him speak because sorry, last queen of
it's okay.
England.
It's
I
okay.
agree with you, but
It's
we've
okay.
been speaking the most, so we gotta let let the naysayers get their turn in. Go ahead, Gabriel, and then we need to let the new person come on if they ever stop
Surely I was after Queen of
buffering.
England though.
Oh, was
Because
it? Well, somebody said, "Can I say something?" I
Gabriel
wasn't sure
spoke
which one of
before
y'all.
Queen of England spoke. What I was saying before about like the Forest Whitaker thing, he played an African warlord. Mind you, this is an African warlord
Which
with
is what my
a
username is based on, by the way. He did not
yeah.
play a warlord. It was the last king
I
of
know because
Scotland.
I'm from the country. Can you not like
It was a
interrupt me?
Okay,
Ugandan. You're
well, let
Ugandan.
him just let him
He's
explain his point,
interrupting
and then
me.
we can come back. Go
Like
ahead.
yo, he played the African warlord Idi Amin. He has a formal education. Went to university. The whole role he was growling. He was barely speaking English. He won an Oscar off that role. He's never reached that level again.
Joel, you do know it was
Okay, but hold
based on
on, because
fact.
And then
I
I
gotta
wanted to
reply
respond
to
to your
that.
point about productions. You brought up how because the production studios are in America, they're for Americans. Therefore, you should have a monopoly on all the roles. But the thing is, so when studios that are leaving America, for example, Marvel has announced that it's leaving America to come to the United Kingdom, and other studios are also following through with that
That's
same
not
process
true.
because they don't have to
Yes, it
pay
is.
for they don't have to pay for insurance for actors like they do because healthcare is free in the United Kingdom. So does that mean that then
Not
black
if you're
actors
not
from
a British
Europe,
citizen, but again, lies.
does that mean that
So
black
I'm
actors?
gonna
Can you let me
answer.
finish?
Well, you just
Yo,
asked the question. Was you
no,
not
because she
trying to get it
interrupted me
answered,
before I
or
could finish the
no, or what?
question. No, it's not you. Sorry, host. I was referring to Queen of England.
Was you trying to get an answer for it?
Now I'm saying, for
First of all,
example,
no. I'm
should
gonna say
we?
that because once again, the company's moving is further proving the point that none of this has ever had anything to do with talent. It's always had everything to do with money.
Thank you.
It's
They're not
This
always
is
had
clocking it.
everything to
capitalism.
do
They're
with
not
money.
clocking
And
it.
once something stops being profitable or it stops being easy to take advantage of people over here, they just move it to somewhere else where it's easier for them to take advantage of people.
Yep.
So
But
when it was
acting was
hard
never
for
about
them to take
culture.
advantage of Black Americans, they moved it to other communities who they
To
could
make you
then take
feel
advantage
special.
of.
To make you
Then they
feel
told you that,
special.
oh, it's because you're more classically trained.
And you
Oh,
eat
it's
it up.
because
They eat it
Black
up.
Americans, they don't go to college, they don't do the theaters.
Oh my
And then you
god.
It's
eat that
true.
up and you
It's true.
believe it
It's
and you
not.
believe that that's the truth.
Also, the only
When
people that have
really
been
you are
peddling
just
that
the
are
new
Black
target of
Americans.
exploitation. And as soon as it becomes hard for them to exploit you, they'll move it
On to the
to
next.
somewhere else
That's
where
why
it's
we have
easier to take
K-pop.
advantage of them.
That's why we have K-pop.
Well, that's just capitalism. Also, I was going to respond to what you said.
But
You
that's the
brought.
point. That's the whole point. Capitalism is a machine that erodes culture. It takes advantage, it takes those cultures and it exploits it. And American capitalism is built off the exploitation of Black American culture. And so every time they try to do that and we push back on them exploiting our culture, they move on to find someone else who they can insert into our culture to play like a puppet version of us. So when we started pushing like this shackle, this is funny. Release the shackles. This is hilarious because this would be a title that Hollywood would go with that a Black American person would never sign off on. We would never sign off on some ridiculous at 12 years a slave.
But
We'd
you
be like, what
did.
is going on with these things?
Crazy.
But
Crazy
most of the
work.
actors in those movies are not of Black American actors. There are
But
people
the thing
who
is,
are
you did though.
desperate to get into those roles, desperate for an opportunity to shine, desperate for an opportunity to be seen. So they're taking the roles with no pushbacks, no questions, no chat. They're just showing up and they're
Black
performing
Which is
the
why
Americans
I'm
played
way
so
all
that
slave roles,
white
disappointed.
Joel, did you see
even in the
Joel? You said you
Caribbean.
didn't
So
want people to
disappointed.
interrupt you. So you
Apologies,
gotta, because I can't
apologies,
even hear you when I'm talking. So you gotta wait. But I'm just
apologies.
saying, like this is the plan. This is how white supremacy it has always operated in America. When they cannot get Black people to do the things that they want us to do, they will move on to somebody else to get them to do it for us. And the way they get them to do it and to not listen to us is to convince you that the reason they're choosing you is because you're more talented, you're more educated, you're more smarter, you're better, you're more special than these lazy Black Americans over here.
The thing is, but Black Americans have been the ones peddling the superiority thing. Like, for example, Nick Cannon tried to say the same thing.
Nick
And
Cannon is your bar.
I'm giving you
The
another
bar is in hell.
example.
But what is
Nick
Nick
Cannon.
Cannon? What is Nick Cannon
I'm saying
peddling?
the Black
Damn.
American actors are the ones trying to
You
peddle
could have
this
said
thing that British
Obama.
actors are
You
better.
guys are embarrassing us. Nick
What do
Cannon.
you
Again,
mean
you're
that they're
being
trying to peddle
ignorant.
that black? What did Nick Cannon say?
I'm not saying Nick
verbatim?
Cannon. I'm referring to Nick Cannon. There's other actors that said it. There's another actor that said it on the Breakfast Club when they brought up British actors. I think
Nick Cannon's not an actor.
Okay, but Nick Cannon is
it's
an
not
actor. He's a
just Nick
comedian
Cannon. There's
actor.
others. Can you
But
stop
what I'm
interrupting me?
saying is like, what is your point? Like, what are you trying to say? Because
No
it's okay
black-
for Black Americans to say, "Oh, I think I'm the better actor." That's perfectly fine to say. I think that we produce the best culture of actors.
No,
There's
I'm
nothing
saying
wrong
that
with that. That's not inherently wrong. But we're not the ones who are hiring and firing folks. We're just giving our own personal opinion on our skills.
No, I'm saying that he peddles that propaganda that black British actors were better. I'm talking about it's the Black American actors peddling that propaganda. There's
How so? You haven't. You
for
just
example,
saying that, but you haven't.
Nick Cannon, he did a special when he was talking about British actors taking American roles. It was a couple of weeks ago. He said because they're more classically trained, blah 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 blah. Then there was another actor. He acted as the father of someone in the TV show Forever by Mara Brockett-Kill.
Who do you think?
Oh my God.
Who do you think they heard that British people are more classically trained from?
I'm not sure. Probably
White
white
people.
Americans.
White people.
White people.
For example, black British actors have never said they're better.
Black
and
British
so,
people
Joel,
are not
we're gonna,
classically trained.
pause
That's a
our
lie.
conversation.
Ashley Thomas is not classically trained. These people are plucked from obscurity, right? Because you know how it goes in London, and most of you are from London, yeah? You have to work your way up through the scene, and it's luck, yeah? Ashley Thomas is not more talented than any other Black American
I agree.
anywhere. So,
Okay,
Joel, please,
Joel,
don't
I'm
embarrass
gonna
us.
pause the
No one
conversation
said
with
that
y'all
he was.
too.
Can you stop? Can you behave?
Hold on. No one's. I'm gonna pause the conversation between you two, and we're gonna move on to the new people on the panel. I believe Florida, and then General. You can go after that. Is it General? I'm sorry. Y'all introduce yourselves and what you prefer to be called.
Yes.
It was Florida. Yeah. Go ahead.
Y'all can call me Florida boy. I'm cool with that.
All right, Florida boy.
I kind of agree with what's been said. They don't want to pay us, and they just outsourcing it to a cheaper labor force. Same thing like when you call customer service and you hear somebody with an Indian voice. Same thing. Just like when they ended slavery, they started. Now everybody was in love with the illegal, so to speak. Now they don't need them no more because they switching out the automation. Same thing gonna happen to the black British actors. They gonna outsource their jobs to AI soon. Because guess what? A lot of those people who we be seeing in the background, those not real people. Those AI. You ain't got to hire what they call them extras no more. So just like y'all think it's a revolution for y'all, it's gonna soon be over. Just a little quicker than what it was for us.
Right. I agree with that 100%, Floater Boy. Like, that is what happened. This is American history. And it's crazy, right? Because Black Americans, we go out our way to try to teach our history. Like, we try to shout our history down y'all throat during Black History Month. We do everything to tell y'all our history because if you pay attention to Black American history, you will know the blueprint of how this country operates and what this country does. They have always did this. Whenever they couldn't force Black people to do something, they would go and outsource it to another group of people. First, it was the Chinese they brought over here to build the railroads. After the abolishment of slavery, and they didn't have slaves no more, they invented convict leasing to enslave some Black men and force them to continue to build the railroads. And then they brought the Chinese out here and the Irish, and they had them help build the railroads. And then when they were done, some of the Chinese got to stay and have communities. Some of them they drowned. Some of them they hung. Some of them they hung alive. And they did the same thing to the Irish. Okay, as soon as they don't need you no more, now you're gone. And that's what's gonna happen with. I love that you brought up AI because that's exactly what Hollywood is trying to do right now. That's exactly what they're trying to do. They are trying to force Black people out of Hollywood altogether by being able to just have digital black face. Digital blackface is rampant all over this app. It drives me crazy that I'll see a AI video of a black woman selling a product, but that company would never pay a real life black woman to pay that product. But they would have an AI version of a black woman to sell the product. It's ridiculous. Go ahead, General.
Okay, so yes, hi, my name is General. So I came in here while y'all was in the middle
Oh,
of the
bye, Queen in
conversation, I
England. I
guess,
love you. Come back
and
soon.
I seen how Joe said that we as Black Americans are the only ones that's pushing the white supremacy thing. I'm not coming for beef. I'm not coming to start nothing. I'm just saying that right there is enough to show you how whatever struggles the Black British men had, our struggles aren't the same as theirs. And one thing I never see is a Black American talking about a Black British person and whatever struggles they might be dealing with, and then be like, "Oh, that's just the Black British people. That they the only ones who do that." Like, if he feels that we're the ones that's pushing that, maybe it's because he should do some research. Again, I'm not here for no beef. Like you just added, if you do the history, I mean, the research on our history, you'll understand how the country operates and how we got here. But I guess he didn't study too much. I don't know where he get his information from. I just wanted to say that our struggles aren't their struggles. It don't mean we can't come together. And on the Black actors part, I do agree that they that it looks like they're starting to go out the country and pull people from other regions and come right here. Like, did anybody see the Breakfast Club interview with the guy from Black Panther and Get Out? I forgot his real name, but
Daniel
Daniel
Kaluuya.
yeah, he
Kaluuya.
just did a he just did an interview with with the Breakfast Club. And again, where is that located? In America. Why was he not on British TV? Why was he not on British podcasts? I'm pretty sure he did, but my thing is that you're doing it here. And if you make it to America in the industry, this is mostly where you push that,
I
regardless of
like
what you
Daniel
think. I'm
Kaluuya. I
finished.
got a lot of respect for him because he seems to be the only one who really gets what Hollywood is doing. So I don't have no problems with him. Go ahead, Chad, and then Black Archive after Chad.
This skit was funny as shit. Yo, this skit was the big. Nah, when he was in the car and then he started yelling and screaming and then the slave when they was in the field and he was like, I need I need a different dialect. That shit was so funny. But I don't understand why Juicy Skit is like starting a diaspora war because um I, I don't understand. Like, if we're gonna argue that Black American actors are marginalized, in comparison to Black British actors, I think that one has to do with Black British actors are you can pay them less than American actors on average, unless you're talking about the top tier, like your Damson Idrises, Daniel Kaluuya, and Idris. Idris is not a good actor for the most part. He's not. He hasn't had a good role since The Wire. Um, uh, And I think like when it comes to if you want to talk about Black American actors being sidelined, then I think you'd have to get into the fact that in America, theater isn't anywhere near as a medium that's propelled as much as theater is in the UK. So that is a factor in this as well. And then um I now me personally, I think if we're for example, if we're having roles that are for African Americans, like for example, having a British actor play Martin Luther King, that's absurd. That's absolutely absurd. Had Daniel Kaluuya is a great actor, exceptional actor, but having somebody who is British play Fred Hampton, that's absurd. Like I'm sorry, that's straight up absurd. Um, but I do think that we had to keep it a buck. In America, we have for Black American actors, we have Denzel's on his way out. We got Michael B. Jordan, Jonathan Majors until he wanted to dip his toe in the lake. So I mean, we're talking about like just black actors right now for the next generation, the best one is probably Damson Idris, and he's British. Is it a diaspora war to say that the best black actor right now is a British actor? If I'm excluding Michael B. Jordan in this conversation,
No, I was
so
gonna say I would have said that was Michael B. Jordan.
yeah,
That's
it's either Mike.
the best
I would
actor right
say
now.
Damson Idris performance in Snowfall. I don't think that Michael B. Jordan has a performance that's
I
as good
don't
as
know any
Snowfall.
other performance that he has that I can just think of off the top of my head that I'm like, oh, I loved him in that.
Well, because he hasn't had the only other John he has right now is F1. He was pretty good in F1, but he was
Right.
a supporting actor to Brad Pitt.
So yeah, I
But
don't. There's not. That's why I'm not gonna put him up there because there's nothing I can think of like, oh, I loved him in that. Where there is several movies from Michael B. Jordan that I can think of with that. And then as far as like your point is about like that America doesn't really. There's not like a theater movement here. Well, that's because that's intentional. Like that's intentional. Like we know that America, the Republican Party, intentionally eroded away arts and scientists in public schools and stripped those programs out of schools and focused on teaching them standardized testing. That was intentional. Like all of these things are playing off of each other from schools all the way up into Hollywood. They're all interconnected. So it's intentional that they remove the arts from school. They remove music and theater and they don't promote it or push it as much as they are. And they don't give acknowledgement to schools like Howard University that has a robust acting department, robust history, long history of theater. They don't treat, if you go to Howard for theater, they don't treat it the same way as if you went to Juilliard or if you went to Oxford or one of those other prestigious universities for theaters. I don't know the ones in the UK for theaters. So if it's not Oxford, that's my bad. I don't know. But I'm just saying that like, I live in DC and Howard Theater has been around for almost 100 years and they've had a robust theater department. They put on
Chadwick
plays and
Boseman came out of there.
productions and things like that here
So
all the time that people just do not
I
give
got a
any
question.
attention to because they Black Americans, because it's Black.
What?
And then also I want to say like about there not being a lot of Black American actors right now. Well, there's no roles for them because nobody is hiring them right now. Like they're giving
wait, hold on.
all
Wait,
of
time
the
out, Talisa.
positions
Somebody in
to
the
the
comments said
same
Tyler. Somebody in the
position.
comments said Tyler Perry. I'm not gonna lie. If you're a black actor and you want to get respect, the first thing you should not do is audition for a Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry movies are awful. If anything, you go for like a Ryan Coogler movie. Tyler Perry movies are trash. He honestly, if you want to keep it a buck, if you want to talk about why aren't Black American
I
actors
can't
type shit,
agree with that.
you can't agree with that.
No.
You don't think you think Tyler Perry movie
I
makes
hate
good
Tyler Perry
movies?
movies.
Tyler Perry's
I think
awful.
that getting in with Tyler Perry puts you in
No.
with the wrong crowd.
His movie's not
I think
trash.
going through Tyler Perry
His
puts
movies
you
are
in
god
with the
awful.
wrong crowd of people in Hollywood. I think if you go in through Hollywood through like a Ryan Coogler,
Yeah,
you're
you
more
have yes,
likely
Ryan
to have
Coogler.
a little protection, maybe more respect, maybe be treated a little bit better.
Jordan
I feel
Peele.
like
Jordan
if you
Peele.
go the Tyler Perry route, you more likely to be taken
But this
advantage
the
of,
thing
to be
though.
ran into the ground,
Tyler
to be
Perry gonna pay you.
disrespected. That's what I think. That's just what I
Okay,
think.
hold on. He's gonna pay you. Maybe he's gonna pay you good, sure, to where you're living better than the average American. But if you want to start getting more bread and having more roles, you're not like you're gonna get laughed out the room. Jordan, yeah, somebody said Ryan Coogler, Jordan Peele. It's a new director named Boots Riley. He made a movie called Sorry to Bother You in 2018 that was really good. He
Even
made
Issa Rae going in through
Issa Rae
she
too.
took
But
it a little bit more seriously than
yes, Issa Rae,
Tyler
yeah,
Perry.
like,
And
But the
I
thing
just
with
see
them
dark
is
energy around Tyler Perry. That's why I'm saying that. And I'm sorry, y'all. This
the
is not
companies
an
don't want
open.
to give.
This is not an open panel discussion. There's one other person who hasn't had an opportunity to speak, and I need to let them in. So sorry. Go ahead, Black Archive, and then Eli at the bottom. And I think Will is new as well. I'm sorry. Oh no, Wild is my bad.
What's
Go
up,
ahead.
yo? What's up, yo? Talisa. That's how you say it?
Yes, that is. Thank you.
All right. So I feel like the skit itself, it was funny. I feel like he's just with Druski, I found like a different kind of like support for him. I've always been supporting him. But I feel like he's talking about what Black Americans are talking about behind closed doors. Like opportunity is one of them. You know, we've been saying for years that a lot of different ethnicities, they come to, our communities
Okay,
and they
excuse me
take.
1 second, Black Archive. Y'all, I just realized there's 100 of you in here, and I'm only at 2K likes. What is going on? What is happening? Are y'all not enjoying this conversation? Y'all gotta let me know that y'all are enjoying this conversation. I need y'all tapping the screens. Otherwise, the viewer count's gonna go. I need y'all's help to keep people engaged. So please get me up to 5K likes in the next few minutes. Go ahead, Black Archive. Sorry, I had to interrupt you for
Yeah,
that.
like I mean, we've been saying for years that different, other communities, they've been taking our, like our whole aesthetic, and they just been shining off of it and benefiting off our look. So it's just like now that he's doing these little skits, I think it's good because it's kind of like a soft like got you moment to them, because like even Damson Idris was like, they found out, like he was laughing like you ain't shit, like it's basically like you got caught red-handed. So I just like moving forward, I hope this breaks doors for us as a community to really put like a barrier up to other communities to not keep on posing as us and benefiting off of our look and aesthetic. Because like even down to cartoons, we got like British actors like even voicing Black American heroes or characters. It's just like I don't think this is a good look. Like I'm being honest with you. I'd rather have a straight Black American man who's playing that character to the fullest, 100% authentically. But I don't know. I just hope
And you
moving
know what?
forward.
I agree with what you're saying, and I don't even because look, I don't want to take away from the fact that people are talented, right? They're talented, and
Yeah,
they may be doing a great job. But the Black American culture is so rich, and it is so nuanced, and for so long, the control of what people get to see of our community has been out of our hands.
right.
And I want us to have the opportunity to show the best version of our community, to show the talent, to show the veracity, sorry, not veracity, but the diversity of our talent. Imagine if a Black American cartoon character, instead of just sounding American, actually sounded like a kid from Detroit. Actually
Yeah,
sounded like a kid out of Louisiana, out of Shreveport. Actually sounded like a Florida boy. Like, what would it be like to turn on the TV and have cartoon characters and have actors and characters who actually sound like what we sound like in our real lived lives? And what would the world have to say about us if they got the opportunity to be exposed to all the nuances amongst our community and how diverse it truly is?
yeah. But you know
So,
what I think it is? You know what I
hold on,
think
no,
it
I'm
is?
sorry. I gotta go. There's so many new people on the panel. I have to go on to the new people. I'm so sorry.
All right,
And
no
then I'll
problem.
open it back up for you to come back up. Who did I say was next? Was it Eli or
I believe so.
okay, or was it the Shadow Band? I think maybe the Shadow Band was first. So the Shadow Band, Eli, Wildest, and then True at the bottom will be the last person.
Okay, how you doing? Peace to the panel. My opinion about the skit was fire. It was hilarious, but it was more truth than funny, right? And it ain't so much that we care about the UK immigrants playing roles in Hollywood. It's our representations that we are concerned about, right? Our historical figures. But then again, the people of Caucasian, Caucasian people, always use immigrants to block us out, or move us out of our culture, our communities, our jobs, our networks. That's what they do. So my thing is this: it's the same as the unions. They're a cheaper option, and it's a double-edged sword. They use them for cheaper wages, and it slap us in their face. You know what I'm saying? It's just to gentrify our culture. But I won't take too much though. That's my thing. That's my opinion about it.
Thank you for that. And I do agree. I said this earlier. I don't know how many of y'all were in here, but I literally said earlier that this is the standard white supremacist playbook. Whenever Black Americans start to rebel or push back on how we're being treated or mistreated, they get upset. And instead of working with us, they find somebody else to do it for us, for them, either at the same cost, cheaper, or somebody who's going to do it and just shut up. That this is always what they do. And then as soon as they're done and they've got their use of you, they discard you. They done with you. They don't need you no more. They throw you out. They've done this over and over and over and over again. If anybody would ever just pay attention to our history. Go ahead, Eli, and then the Wildest and True.
I want to say a couple of things. I'm gonna start with. So, how do I feel about Druski's latest skit? I feel like Druski, in most of his skits, but more so on the latest, exposed the truth about what's going on in America in general. But he focused on the film industry to give you a concrete example of what he's talking about. There's a couple of other things that I want to touch on real quick, though. Someone said that we don't really have black actors. I'm just not going to say I disagree or agree with this, but I'm just going to name off about 10 of them real quick. Will Smith, Jamie Foxx, Keith David, Morris Chestnut, Terrence Howard, Martin Lawrence, Anthony Mackie, Ice Cube, Donald Glover, Sterling Brown, Forrest Whitaker. And then, so as far as
I
no
think
roles,
I don't think they were arguing that we don't have actors. I think the point was like as far as the new up and coming actors, like there's not a lot of like new young hot Black American actors, with the exception of like Michael B. Jordan. But to that point, how can there be if they're not hiring them? Most of the actors, the Black good actors, are actually on this fucking app making sketches for us all the time. Okay, these would normally have been Black people that would have got their opportunities to go to Hollywood or be a comedian or do something like that. But because Hollywood is intentionally not
may I
hiring
finish this
them,
thought?
they're on this app making us sketches and shit that we can laugh to every other week.
May I finish all the way through before
Yes, go
you?
ahead.
Okay, cool. So as I was saying before, they're saying no roles and no offers were being made, but there are plenty of roles because there are new movies being made all the time. The choice is that you're going to choose someone who is not traditionally or born in America or not traditionally African American because you don't want to give money to the African American community. Now, I just want to say that to touch on Tyler Perry casts more black actors than almost any studio. Tyler Perry casts more black actors, and he pays them more than almost any studio as well. But he will pay you less than they will pay a white actor. Last point that I'm gonna make though is English actors are paid more than us. I'm gonna give you a perfect example. Anthony Mackie's net worth is only 1 to 5 million, but Idris Elba's net worth is 50 million. Not just because he plays in more movies, not just because he's a little bit older or he has more roles, it's because he's English. Guarantee you it's because he's English. You can side by side actors who have the same amount of time in the game that are English versus someone who is traditionally black or African American, and they will get paid less over the course of the time, and in fact, a shorter time, even less time if you was acting. But that's all the only point I was gonna make. That's all I had to say.
Thank you. Go ahead, Wildest, and then True.
Hey, how you doing, Talisa? Thanks for
Um,
allowing me to come up.
of course,
Uh,
thanks for being here.
of course. How do we feel about Druski Lady Skit? It was the truth. I've been noticing it for a while, and when it comes to Black Americans in different industries, it tend to become race neutral. I noticed that. Like I heard somebody bring up them. I didn't even know that it was a British actor playing them, and that was like historically accurate and tied to Black Americans. So, for instance, Cynthia Erivo playing Harriet Tubman, somebody that was British playing Fred Hampton, somebody British playing Martin Luther King. At this point, we noticing a pattern, right? And like I said, as far as new actors, we do have new actors, but I do agree that, um, like I saw somebody in the comments say we could crowdfund and create our own industries for the actors, and I agree with that. That will fall into like if we bring up Tyler Perry, that would be a whole nother situation. But he does hire a lot of Black American um actors, but I don't think he do a good job at showcasing our history. One new actor I see coming up, but I fear a lot of his roles will get taken by other ethnic groups that can be historically tied to Black Americans. And I would say Caleb McLaughlin. Um, I'm noticing like he trying to, for instance, he trying to get the Spider-Man role, right? And I'm noticing people saying, "Oh, but Miles Morales is Puerto Rican," ignoring the part that the character, right, is bi-ethnic, right? He Black American and Afro Latino, but people have all these rules against Caleb McLaughlin. Oh, he too old. If you look at the other white T Spider-Mans, They was 27 approaching 30, and that was okay. But now because it's a Black American, it's an issue, or he has to be perfectly for the role. When historically, we have Afro Latinos playing Black Americans. Like if you look in The Boys, the person who played Mother's Milk is Dominican, no Cuban, but he's playing a Black American. Every role he has, Laz Alonso is Black American. So I think it comes to a point where it's weird that every single role they have, they playing Black Americans not as their actual ethnic group or even in their own accent. So I just think that's weird.
Yeah, no, and I pointed that out. I had hosted a live about that not too long ago because whenever we say that, hey, we want our historical figures played by Black American people, people go, oh, well, we all Black and it shouldn't matter. But when it's Miles Morales, now it's, oh, he should be played by an Afro Latino. Like, I really feel like an Afro Latino or like a Puerto Rican person should be the one who play him because they the only ones who can really understand the nuance of being in both worlds. Okay, but when we say that about the Black American historical figure, y'all tell us we all Black and it shouldn't matter, and a win for one of us is a win for all of us. So which is it? Because it can't be good for you, but not good for me. Go
Exactly.
ahead, True. Thank you for being up here, and thank you for that, Wildest. You was spot on.
Thank you for having me up. This is my first time in this panel, I believe. Hi,
Well,
everyone.
welcome. Nice to meet you.
So, how do we feel about Druski latest skit? I think they were spot on. I'm thinking that Druski probably experienced some of these, I guess, discriminations when he was applying for different jobs throughout his life. I don't know. I'm just speculating, but this is really good, and I'm looking for more. I'm constantly looking for more of his skits because it's highlighting a lot of silent truths, so to speak. Far as other producers, Tyler Perry, if you guys watch his sitcoms, they are really good. You just have to have patience because they take a while to, develop to the more interesting parts. Spike Lee, he has a few good things as well. I think they do hire people of color. And, just kudos to all of them, for speaking up and telling our stories because a lot of the Tyler Perry skits have our stories. With that, I'm a yield. Thank you for having me.
Of course, of course. Yeah, I do know Tyler Perry does hire a lot of Black people, Black Americans, especially Black Americans who work the theater, especially. Tyler Perry is always tapping the Black theaters. I respect him for that, but I just think that Tyler Perry has gotten in cahoots with some very dark people in Hollywood, and there's a lot of dark energy that surrounds Tyler Perry.
Yeah, yeah,
There's a
Therese.
lot. There's
I don't
like a
know.
dark shadow that,
I don't know
whenever
why
I think of him in my
people.
mind's eye,
I don't know why people
it's
are
all
saying
bad.
like Tyler Perry. I don't understand why people are saying like if you are like I'm being so honest like no funny shit like if you I'm talking about now because back in the day there are like solid Black actors who was in his stuff but like let's keep it a buck. There's no reason why Taraji P Henson should be in Tyler Perry movies. I'm sorry. There's no reason why she should be in
I
Tyler Perry
agree. I
movies.
think that Tyler Perry, like his thing is like new and up and coming people, and I knew things were bad when I started seeing legends coming to Tyler Perry for work. But that just goes to show you it's because Hollywood's not hiring them. It ain't because the talent ain't out there. It's not because, we don't have the skills or we're not classically trained because just as many Black American actors have went to Juilliard or have studied the theater. It's just that they're not being hired.
Like
That's
what's the
literally
face? What
it.
I'm about
Can
to
I
say?
jump in there and say
Yeah, go
something
ahead.
to
Go ahead,
I
what?
want
Lexi.
because Alexis is new to the panel, and then Alec, or no, Alexis hasn't said anything, so I want Alexis to say something. And then Alec is new to the panel,
I
and
wanted to jump off. I think Will or maybe True said it when she brought up the Afro Latinos and in regards to the Miles Morales. I would even go back further. There is an interview or a documentary. There is combined a bunch of Afro Latino actors and actresses, including Laz Alonso, that specifically complain about this in their own community. Many of them have already came out. This happened years ago, where they specifically said that they were too dark to be hired as Latinas and they were specifically forced into Afro American roles. So when I see the comments of so many people like, "Oh, well, African Americans, y'all been sitting there playing everybody else," people have been historically playing African Americans as well. In fact, there are so many Black actresses and actors in Hollywood that you automatically presume to be Black American, and they're not. I seen somebody talking about, oh, well, you mock the accents and it sounds bad. Somebody brought up somebody like Tay Diggs. Tay Diggs is not a Black American man, but you assume that. It seems to be suddenly forgotten that the Black people in America, every one of them are not Black American. There's at least 20 to 21% of Black people in America that are not heritage wise ethnic Black American people or Afro American people. So you sit around here and say, oh, well, they're playing all these roles. Some of your actors and actresses that you are trying to say has played other roles are too not playing of the same culture of themselves. I believe Leticia Wright, I believe it's another young man that played in Black Panther, were playing roles of a man of continental African people. Those are Caribbean American people. So I think it's very interesting that nobody actually tries to find out these actions as heritage. Nobody sees the depiction of what's going on. This has been historically happening for a long time, and this is not just something that Afro Americans are just talking about. When they hired, what's that girl name, to play Nina Simone, and they
Oh,
basically did blackface,
Zoe Zeldana.
Zoe
Yeah.
Saldana, it was a shit show in response. And a part of this conversation comes from the outside backlash of Hollywood. There has been conversations had where it seems like it works against the community. Idris Elba did an interview and said he didn't want to be considered a black actor. That is just he didn't want to be associated with that, which honestly, that is the reason part of what started off his career playing in that wire. If he
You're
did not get
Right.
that level of
misconstruing his
support,
words. You're
And
misconstruing his words.
whatever, it don't matter if we're misconstrued it or not. The point
there
is
was another.
you should never say anything that puts you outside of, in opposition of, adjacent to Black actors.
If
He
I'm
was
Period.
correct,
referring to
Idris
people saying
Elba
he's
said.
good for a black actor. He said he was
If
good
I'm
for
correct, when
being
I was
an
reading the exact
actor.
transcript, he was saying he did not want to be considered that because it was limiting his roles and positions. And I
No,
understand
it
not
was on the
wanting to be
Breakfast Club.
typecasted. I didn't say where the interview was, sir. I just said I was remembering the transcript of what he said. He was mainly talking about being typecasted if he's considered or put in a box as a black actor. And that limits his roles, which it will do. I understood what he was saying, but I also understood the backlash of having that. There was also another black British actor that spoke out because I believe it was a Caucasian British man that decided when he was so-called advocating for black people to call them colored. And when black people spoke out and said, how the hell are you about to sit there and call black people colored? He defended him. So it has more to do sometimes with the situations on the outside. Cynthia Erivo saying negative things online for years about the Afro-American community and then going in there into the system and then playing, I just said, what was it, Harriet Tubman or something like that. These conversations have been circulating outside, which also affects people's opinions and feelings about it. And like I stated before, so many people have been hired by either Black American people that are not of the same heritage or background. So that has been supported by Black American people that are not of the same heritage or background. So this is not just they're being xenophobic and nitpicking. It's like you want to control the community's voices when you want to, because when BBC was out here doing what they did, y'all ran. Many people got on the internet was like, ha ha, now the Black American community is about to get in their behind. So it was okay when these voices were coming out and yelling in support of global blackness and how the BBC was treating the actors and actresses as well as how they was disrespecting one of our own. But now it's shut up again. We don't want to hear this again.
Okay, I was
Thank
in.
you. I need to let Alec go because they're new to the panel. But I wanted to say, Alexis, the people wanted me to let you know that Tay Diggs is in fact African American. He is of African American heritage. And I went and Googled it just so we can all make sure. And yeah, according to the Googles, he is one of us. Unfortunately. Or fortunately, depending on which version of Tay Diggs you get. Go ahead, Alex. Come on in. Or Alec. I'm sorry. Alec. Is that right?
Yeah, I saw the skit. It wasn't really funny to me, but I understood it. But I just don't like that type of comedy. I'm more of a Bernie Mac, Martin Lawrence kind of guy. This was more like a think piece, Dave Chappelle-esque type of thing. But I like Drewski nonetheless. Um, I'm just hoping sometimes I noticed it, but I just put it off as the executive producers may be just being lazy and the British actors are leaning on their ability to speak with an American accent almost as a shtick to highlight their acting abilities. But now that it's happening more and more, I think I do think it is deeper than that. I wish some Hollywood insiders or some people who are trying to be actors could help us out with this, but I feel like that world is just so far away. It's hard to put our finger on what exactly is going on.
Okay, I don't think they tell us what's going on because we ask them why does it seem like more black British actors are being hired over black American ones, and they'll say, oh, it's because they're more classically trained, or they've got more experience in the theater or something like that as the justification for why this is happening. But we know that that's just some artificial bullshit that Hollywood has created to judge black Americans that they don't judge nobody else by, because white Hollywood is full of Nepo babies. White Hollywood is full of Nepo babies, full of, oh, my mom was, my dad was, my grandpa was. And none of them, they don't be having to go through what everyday average people have to go through to get into those industries. But anyways, is there anybody else new on the panel that hasn't had an opportunity to speak?
I wanted to speak. I wanted to ask, who are the black British actors that are new and young and upcoming? Because the majority of black British actors are very old. Like, for example, Damson Idris is like 34, Aaron Pierre's like 31. And then also, someone mentioned Letitia Wright. She's never acted as a black American. She acted as a fictional African princess in Black Panther. That's her only like American-based role. Majority of her roles are domestic. Like
That's
she's
what I
never
said,
been.
sir. I said that she played a role outside of her culture. And just to be correct, like I thought Tay Diggs absolutely is coming from Bohemian and Jamaican descent. He said that a long time ago. He also said that his grandparents migrated here, just to clear that up.
Well, there y'all. She got y'all.
But there is no like new young upcoming black British actors. And also we're a minority within a minority. I don't think we're taking up all the roles. Like even if you look at the numbers.
What are you defining as young though?
You think 30? If you think 31 is young in Hollywood, you're out of your mind. Leonardo DiCaprio is like 50 something, still getting Oscar noms.
And you know
Like I'm
what?
looking at
Real
like, for
quick,
example,
hold
like
on, Joe. You
Lovey
was in the
Simone. She's
comments
like
doing what I say
25.
they do.
You said
Talisa.
like
When I talk,
Navi Simone?
Lovey
You know,
Simone is
no, Lovey
27.
Simone.
Lovey Simone
I
and
thought
the
she was
bull
like
Michael
26,
Cooper. Michael
27.
Cooper is Black American. He's only 23.
That's my point. There's no like 23-year-olds. There's no actors in like the early 20s or even the mid like the middle
Okay, but
middle of
that's
their
not how
20s.
acting works. A lot of actors don't actually become very successful until they're in their late 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. That's when they really start getting prestigious. But how things used to work is they used to get all these little baby roles while they were on their way to building to the big roles. Now ain't no little baby roles for black folks. Not only is Hollywood intentionally, getting rid of black TV shows, first of all, black TV shows, sitcoms, things like that, so that there's only a limited roles. And these limited roles are really big roles for big movies or they're big characters. And then they're choosing from the people who they deem to be worthy for these roles. But before, there was a clear path on how everybody used to get up to them roles. You used to do the commercials, then you would do low level TV shows and sitcoms or the theater, and then you would get side roles in little movies. You'd be like a side character to a movie or a background character in a movie, and then you would take role after role. That's the reason why we all know Samuel L. Jackson. We talk about him being in everything. That's why. That used to be the path black people would take to get to the top. They would take all the little roles that they could, and then once white America got exposed to them consistently, got comfortable with them, started liking them, becoming familiar with them,
hold
then
on,
you started
Talisa.
seeing them get those big roles. Denzel did the same thing. So like this is
She
how it
tripping
used
in
to
the
go.
Yeah, I was
comments.
gonna say, what's the face? The
Divinely, she
Shawty
saying we was
on Reasonable
so.
Doubt.
Hold
She's
on,
not even Black
Chad. Hold
American.
on. She telling this person that's why you was so. She went on a rant about us not having coach. What is wrong with her?
Who I don't know what you talking about.
I
No,
saw her.
divinely.
She
She
needs to
just
be
wrote to somebody.
blocked.
That's why you was sold to a black American.
Who
You
wrote
Yeah,
know
she
how
needs
to
to
that?
get
say that,
blocked.
sweetheart.
Oh
We're not
yeah,
ashamed of our ancestry. I don't know why people think that.
yeah, and don't even pay the comments no attention because they gonna talk in the comments. And if you ain't brave enough to come up on the panel, like what can I say?
And you
I
know,
ain't got.
Talisa, Joe did exactly what I said they was gonna do with Miles Morales. Caleb don't speak Spanish, and Caleb don't do this, and everybody don't speak the right Ebonics. I don't speak the same Ebonics as Talisa because we from two different places. I speak Chicago. I say cars. I say stove. And if they have a black British person play somebody from Chicago, they not gonna get the inflections of our accent from this place. So we can say the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
such
one of the things that
That's
took me out of the
perfectly
Martin Luther
fine.
King movie, one of the reasons I didn't like Selma is that the dude who plays Martin Luther King does not have a Southern accent. That accent is trash.
This
That
is
accent is
good.
trash. So
They
I
don't
cannot
What is the
understand the
stand
problem?
it.
culture. They don't
What is the
understand.
problem
They
then?
don't understand how deep our accents get. We
I
need
don't,
to
and
lean in
look, I
more.
can understand for a
Oh
lot of y'all.
yeah.
Y'all probably didn't grow up listening to Martin Luther King like that. A lot of y'all only hear "I have a dream" speech, and you don't even hear the whole speech. You hear the "I have
I've
a
been to the
dream."
mountaintop. I
You don't
have
even
been
hear.
to the
So a lot of
mountaintop.
y'all don't actually know what he sound like because you didn't grow up hearing him on a regular basis. Baby, I did. I grew up in the South. Okay, we was listening to Martin Luther King during Martin Luther King birthday, Black History Month. People was riding up and down the streets, booming the speech, full speakers. Okay, to the max all day. Okay, you walk into any barbershop, they got the speech going on in the background. Okay, it was a regular thing for us to hear Martin Luther King's voice. So when I'm hearing that movie, I'm not hearing him. I'm not hearing him, and it takes me out. So I don't even like it. I ain't seen it to this day. I ain't seen that movie. Okay, I'm sorry, y'all. I got somebody new on the panel. Is it Black King? Go ahead.
I don't really see a problem with the skit. I mean, it's for shits and giggles.
Great. Do you have an opinion about the skit? What it was talking about at all, or
It's just like the Black Americans and UK Americans. I feel like the UK Black people are just taking it too personal. I mean, it's for shits and giggles. That's what Druski does.
okay? I don't know if they're taking it personal or
Yeah,
not. I honestly
I
haven't
haven't seen a
seen
black
them.
British person get mad.
I haven't seen them
I
say.
haven't even commented on it yet. Like no one's
Yeah,
just laughed.
I haven't seen any videos or I haven't really seen them saying anything about it. So I don't know if they're taking it too personal or not. This live is really just to get our opinions on how we feel about what he's saying in the video, as far as Black British actors playing a role and kind of making it a mockery of our accents and of the things we've been through. That's what I get
I
from
remember
that.
the guy's name from Daddy's Little Girl. He commented on this.
Idris.
Oh, Idris Elba commented on it. What did he say? Let me go look it up.
I was just laughing
Yeah,
at low
to me,
key.
I'm gonna be so real. Idris Elba is not a good actor in my opinion. I don't think he's that good of an actor.
Why do you feel
Um,
that way?
He's only
the
had
only
one
the
big
only good
role.
His
role.
looks have carried him out in my
Yeah, he's
opinion.
not like he's
He's
not
a good
Michael B.
looking man.
Jordan. He's not Damson Idris. He's not John Boyega. The bull, I don't even know how to pronounce his last name. The bull who played in 12 Years a Slave. He's a better actor. And he's about to play in a new John Backrooms, a new horror movie John. Idris is a very overrated actor in my opinion. And I think when it comes to this conversation, right? I think for me as a Black American, the only time, and I think it's a little bit more slack that I'll give because a lot of the historical roles that have been played by Black British people or Black African people, they've done the role pretty solid. Like the bull who played David Oyelowo, who played MLK, he did alright. The accent was kind of ass, but he did alright. Now what you call it? Daniel Kaluuya, he did really good with Fred Hampton. I'll give him that. Cynthia Erivo with Harriet, that joint was terrible. Oh no, absolutely not. And I
So
think a bigger,
we're discussing like their acting chops, or if they respect the history that they're portraying, because that was kind of my
I
issue.
think it's a combination of both. If you respect the history, then I'm not really gonna have an issue. But if you're,
Okay, I feel the same way, because that's why I came on the panel, because
yeah.
I don't think a lot of them really respect the history or really respect us as a culture, because
I've had, just going off experience, I'm not going off of statistics or anything like that. And I'm from Georgia, but I spent time in Missouri, I spent time in Texas and other parts of Georgia, and it seemed like a lot of like either the British and sometimes like African descent, they come here and don't really have the respect of the culture itself. They still kind of look at us kind of like how white people do, like we're lazy, or how y'all still live in ghettoly or in projects, or they don't really understand like the civil rights movement and stuff like that. So when they get those roles, I would really appreciate if the person really, like, knows and really understands, and just have some type of appreciation or some respect. I guess I would say, like, have some respect for what you are portraying. But some of them, like Sylvia, I guess old girl from
Yeah,
Wicked.
Cynthia Erivo. Yeah, she's actually pretty xenophobic towards Black Americans, like legitimately. Like, so yeah, I don't have like she not it, to be honest with you,
I
and she's
don't feel
only.
like in the accents, I'm going to it be taking me out. It's always gonna be that for me. But I do agree with like the whole respectable thing, because I said that Daniel Kaluuya, I think, is very respectful in his portrayals, and I think he's someone who's very aware of the way that Hollywood tries to use Black British people to degrade Black Americans. And I've heard him say out of his own mouth, when they start talking about this whole Black British actors are more classically trained, or they start asking him them stupid questions about does he think that him being British or going to one of those schools made a difference? And he always shoots them questions down. Like,
I appreciate
I'm
that.
just talented, and any talented person could have played this role. I'm just lucky enough to be the one that was chosen. Like, he's always very, very humble.
And
While
which
the
actor is
rest of
that?
them seem to be, that was Daniel Kaluuya who be saying that, and he be very respectful to Black women. He very much so is somebody that I respect. But it be the other ones that they be eating that shit up when they ask about why Black British actors are more classically trained. They be eating that shit up, and I've been seeing it with Godfrey in the interviews that he's doing with. He's on a podcast with
I
another
thought
man
Godfrey
who's
was cool. He
African.
Nigerian. I thought he was
Yeah,
cool.
and
Yeah, I thought so. Because y'all, Godfrey usually get on
and
the kind of about our history and
Godfrey,
stuff.
in this interview, he was with the guy he was interviewing with. I don't know the other young man's name. I just know the other young man is African as well. And he was saying like, well, isn't Black British people getting the roles because like we're just better trained, or we just we have more skills? And Godfrey was like, nah, that's not true at all. That's bullshit. That's bullshit that white people have made
Okay.
up. And so
So yeah, that's
I
good. That's
respect
good on
Godfrey
him.
because he
Okay.
also understands that, hey, Hollywood is creating these superficial standards to justify why they're excluding Black people from these roles. And as African people, Black British people who are accepting these roles, we have to do it knowing that they're using us to put other Black people down. So we have to use our voices to always speak up and always highlight the talented and the history of Black people, and the fact that Black people are the only reason we even have these roles to play. And I appreciate Godfrey for saying that, but I feel like not enough. Only 2 out of all the other Black British actors actually say that. The rest of them really be sitting back like, oh no, it's because I'm more classically trained. And
And you might be more classically trained because of the resources you have. They skip over like a lot of Black actors had to train these, get training from like somebody they know. It had to be more of a who you know situation where the rest of y'all come in and could just get those type of resources off top. And that's another thing I don't like, because y'all don't even understand the privileges, or how y'all don't even, the extra steps that y'all don't even have to take. Like just small little quotes like that just irritate me. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, I was it, and you're right about that. And even when I think Chad had mentioned is the fact that like American public schools don't even put an emphasis on the arts and on music and theater. Like they intentionally strip those programs out of public schools and then turn around and go, oh, well, you're not classically trained. Well, all the programs that
Thank
was
you.
there, y'all done took out of schools. And it's even the same thing in the music industry. I was hosting a live where people are always talking about how it seemed like most of the new female artists are whisper singers? Why are they all baby talking singing? How come
And they don't even
nobody?
have school
What
plays like
happened?
that anymore.
Like
Like
what
when we was
happened to
at
all of the
school, they had
powerhouse
school
Whisper
plays.
singers
vocals?
is
They
hilarious.
What
got
happened to
auto
the Whitney
tune.
Houstons, the Patti LaBelle's, the Aretha Franklin? There used to be a slew of women at
Because
one
they grew up in
time
the
who could
church. They grew up in the black
sing the
church.
house down,
And
and
you know
that they
what?
got rid of
But also
the
people didn't play
choir,
like
and
that.
they
If you
got rid
couldn't
of the
sing,
black
people would
church.
boo the fuck out
They
And
you.
got rid of
listen,
choir. They got rid of the black church. They got rid of the music programs because a lot of black people, if they couldn't afford to go get professionally trained singers, they would join the choir in school. And they would be in choir from elementary school all the way up until middle school, all the way up through high school. They would be singing in the choir. And by the
that
time they
part.
got ready to go off to college, they could go to college and get a scholarship or make their focus singing or join the choir and singing. But they have pulled those programs out, and now y'all people are surprised that we got a whole generation of girls who whisper singing on the radio, or they can sing, but when they step on stage, all of a sudden they can't sing because they have no experience singing in front of the audience or singing in front of a crowd. This system intentionally stripped these programs out of schools so that they could weaponize it as a reason for why they're not hiring us and giving us opportunities.
Wait, so but Talisa, do you think this this issue of like black British versus black American representation? I think for real, the only egregious example for the women I've seen is Cynthia, because I say we still got Viola Davis, we got people like Kerry Washington, she's starring in Imperfect Woman. Who else do we have other than two? Jamie Lawson, the
But
short.
you talking about like the older black, but like what about the young black girls, right? Because
Jamie Lawson.
one of my
Jamie
most
Lawson.
frustrating things with like watching Sinners, I love Sinners. It was a great movie, but I wish more Black American women were casted in the main cast. Almost all
Oh
the
yeah,
women in the main
Woonmi,
cast
because
are
Woonmi's
British
great, but she's
women.
not
Like,
black American.
Well, I just looked that up so I can say
excuse
her
me,
name
I
right.
couldn't hear what you said. What did you say, Chad?
The shorty Woonmi who played the wife of Michael B. Jordan's twin. She's not. I forgot she's not black American, but I believe Jamie Lawson.
No, the other girl who was with Sam.
None
of the women, none of the main three women of the cast are Black American at all. None of them.
Damn. At least I know Miles Canton is.
All of them are overseas. None of them are, even the white looking one is not American. They are all from overseas. And that was my only problem with it, because now we got a cast where the main people on the cast are Black American men. Those are the main two faces. But their love interests and the side women are not Black American women. And the accent, I'm sorry. I love my plus size girls getting some shine. I love her character. I plan on dressing up as her in Halloween. I love her. But her accent was shit. The whole time I was listening to her, I was like, where is she supposed to be from? Is she supposed to be from Louisiana? Is she supposed to be from Mississippi? And if she dragged the L and the O out in blood again, I'm going to lose my mind. It's in the blood. The blood.
You know Miles Cannon, Panamanian.
I was like, who is she supposed to be?
Hold on. Somebody in the comments said Taraji's a good actress. She is, but I'm sorry. Why is she? I'm sorry. I'm gonna keep emphasizing. Why is she in Tyler Perry movies? She was just in Hidden Figures.
So y'all are not
Why the only one that'll put up with his foolishness?
Can y'all hear me? I'm from Georgia, right?
True? Is it true? Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm from Georgia. Hey, everyone. Hey, Stephanie. So listen, Tyler Perry, he gives opportunity to everyone that's overlooked, like the singers, I guess, rappers, actress. So that's why she's in a lot of his movies. Otherwise, where would she go? Are you?
True that, because they're not opening the floor up for these.
She could, but does he want her, and does he have roles for her?
I'm not gonna lie. I'm sure Ryan Coogler could find a role for Taraji P. Henson or Jordan Peele or Boots Riley.
Listen, call him up because he's ready to work.
For instance, it ain't even got to be just them. Like the Devil Wear Prada 2 just came out. They could have found Taraji a role.
But that's a white feminist movie, though. That's a white feminist.
She could have been a CEO sitting in the office or a head of a different. They could have found a way for her to be in these movies, but they're not casting us in these movies, and that's ultimately always going to be the problem, because then when the few roles do show up for that have a black cast in it. The studios always come with their casting requirements. First, you got to attach a big name to it. So, what big male lead they gonna pick? Michael B. Jordan
Interesting, yeah.
or Idris Elba, one of the Denzel Washington. First, you got to attach a big male name to it, and then the side people, they want to be able to choose who them is, and they're gonna have their picks. The studio gets to pick who they want you to choose from them, and they are intentionally making it so that Black American people are not not the first ones on the call. Like they're doing, it's intentional.
I gotta see because there's an upcoming solid film called Is God Is that's coming out next week that I want to see.
Oh yes, I'm planning on seeing that.
I actually want to see because I know Taylor Page. Yeah, Taylor Page is she? I wonder if she's Black American or not. 'Cause she's an upcoming good Black actress. And then I don't know who the twins are in it, but I know Vivica Fox is going to be in it. Sterling K. Brown is another Black American actor who does really well, but he's only started popping off in his 50s. So I mean,
About Key and Peele. I forget which
Jordan
one.
Peele. You talking about Jordan?
Yes,
Peele?
Jordan Peele. His
He's a
movies are
great
pretty good.
director. He's a
and
great
that's
director.
like psychological thrillers. He's on a different genre than the usual people. But if you're into that kind of stuff and comedy, he's a really good director as well. You.
Boots
Miles
Riley comes out with a
Cannon,
joint next week.
Miles Cannon, I think he's Panamanian and Black American, but I know for a fact his granddad, because they gospel singers, are Panamanian.
Then
But
somebody
from New
said
York, we have
Denzel
a lot of
played a Brit.
bi-ethnic people, so I expected in New York they be having bi-ethnic from different cultures you never heard of before.
Somebody
Yeah,
said
I think Taylor
About
Page is a Black American person. That's what it's
okay,
looking
that's
like.
good because she
Kiki.
played in It, Welcome to Derry, and now she playing in
Did
this. Her
you watch it?
filmography is solid.
Did y'all watch it? You watched it, Talisa?
I
The
saw the
TV
first
show, I
one.
haven't watched I'm only like 4 episodes in, and then I stopped watching it. I gotta go back and finish it. But yeah, there's so much Black, like I said this earlier, there's so many talented Black American actors and actresses who could be playing side characters, background characters, those one line quip characters who just come in and say something real funny and then dip out. There are so many opportunities for Black Americans to play these roles. They just not hiring them. And
Like
then Hollywood's
Ironheart.
wondering why Hollywood is dying off. It's because we're tired of seeing the same actors playing the same roles over and over and over again. They're not even letting new young white talent come in. Like they're literally casting the same as old people, and we're tired. I'm tired of it. I'm tired.
I saw
That's why
Michelle
Hollywood Shuffle
Pfeiffer.
was a good
I saw
movie.
Michelle Pfeiffer in the series. It's really good, but she's been acting a very long time.
Yes, it's the same thing
That's
with the
true.
like. Get out the way! Like I'm so ready for the new people to come in, and I'm sorry. I'm actually worried because some of these new young actors, like I don't know. Maybe it's because it's the Disney Channel, and I be watching
Yo,
the new
wait.
kids on the
They do
Disney
not
Channel.
be
I'm like,
good.
yo,
Well, I
we
don't
Did
know.
y'all
I
see
miss
I
watching
don't
Ironheart?
those
know. I don't
Context,
kids.
know.
like I said, Hollywood Shuffle talks about a lot of the stuff that we kind of discussing right now. They may not be like
Zendaya is a Disney Channel product, so I don't know about it because
That's
Zendaya
true.
is an
No,
A-lister.
but she's from the millennial area. She's like the
yeah.
last generation of the
Okay.
millennial
What
era.
about
So
Stormy
that's
Y'all
why.
say
Reed?
African American actress and actors. Do you watch Tubi? Because Tubi and
Oh my
Detroit
God.
The Tubi
stories
shit
is
is ass though.
Did
crazy.
y'all
Tubi,
see
Terrible.
no, Tubi got
It's
some
Ironheart?
a
low key
great
good series on
indication.
it. Some good series that
Ironheart.
black people produce that some shows wouldn't pick up went on to Tubi, and some of them are
That's
actually a
true.
hit.
I give
Ironheart,
it a
Tubi
she was
try.
show
playing a
Detroit
Black
and
American from
Atlanta.
Chicago, and she Trinidadian. That accent was not there. And Ironheart, it's a Marvel film,
Yeah, no,
Yep.
Ironheart. That was a great John. But
but she was playing her accent wasn't there.
No,
wait,
and
she's
that
not
be
Black
the
American. She's not Black
yeah,
American.
I
Oh,
mean,
she's Trinidadian.
that be
Oh
the thing
damn.
that clock it for me because I said this about because I when I first saw Daniel Kaluuya was the one who was in Get Out the very first time I watched it,
Yeah,
right?
that's crazy. You
And
got a
so when
black
I
dude.
remember watching Get Out for the first time, I kept asking, "Where is this at? Where is this being filmed at? Where is he supposed to be from? What accent is he? Where is he supposed to be from? Where is this supposed to be at?" And I was like, "I know it's supposed to be in America, but like, where in America?" And that was because his accent is just an American accent. It's just flat. So you can't really pin it to one region of America and be like, oh, this is supposed to be over here, or oh, this must be somewhere on the East Coast. His accent was just
And he's
flat.
so handsome,
Wait,
by the
Talisa,
way.
is Coleman Domingo Black American?
Coleman
White
Domingo,
ethnic.
no.
I
Oh,
think
he's
he's
not.
white
Can I?
He's
ethnic
Afro
Hey,
too.
Latino. Coleman
can
Domingo
I?
is Afro Latino.
I think he got a black
Oh,
American parent. Let me go check.
Yeah,
oh,
Coleman
okay.
I feel
Domingo is
like
Afro
Y'all ever
Latino.
watch ATL?
Yeah, ATL was a great. ATL was a great movie. You
That's a
talking about
result.
Atlanta, the
The one
show,
with
or
The
ATL the?
you talking about the
series.
one with Ti?
oh
The
yeah,
Oh
no, the
series.
no, you talking about
No,
series,
no,
yeah, the
Atlanta?
no,
series.
no, not
Oh,
Ti. I'm talking
Robin
about
my
season.
bad.
Childish Gambino
Yeah, that was a
ATL.
great series. That was a
Oh,
great
Robin
gotcha.
series.
season.
Yeah.
There
That
you
shit was
go.
fire.
Yeah,
Man, it's a
The
lot of good
main, yeah,
actors came
the
out of
rapper,
there.
the
that
rapper
was real
boy. What's his
good.
name? Paperboy. He's a British.
Oh, is
Really?
he?
Yeah, he's
Damn, that's
British.
Okay, and check
crazy,
out old
bro.
girl,
Wait, what?
the female star.
Paperboy, British
Uh,
gang.
Yeah, he's British.
That's
okay,
crazy.
but you know what? Anyways, I don't want to get too deep with that. But you know the girl star of the show, she's in They Will, what is it? They Will Kill You. Have y'all seen that?
Oh, that's a
Yeah,
horror John. Yeah, I didn't watch it in theaters. I may watch it on bootleg. But
I
it's
Oh,
another
watched
she
it. It was
John.
really
kicking.
good.
I'm gonna say this. Can I say this real quick?
Yeah.
About I feel like what Druski did was brilliant, and it touched on so many different layers, not just his personal career path. Cause like it's not just actors in Hollywood, Black American being replaced. Like if like I got a business, I compete for grants and shit, and that's meant for Black Americans that I can't get that other people getting. You know, it's not like they like for example the DEI program. There was grants in that inside of that I couldn't get. I was beat out by a couple of Asians a couple of different times. So I always say they, you know, the
Wait,
corporations.
I'm sorry.
Hmm?
I want to be sure. You saying the Paperboy is from the UK? Is
I
that who
believe
you?
he's I believe he's British. I believe he's British.
Because I'm on Google right now. It said he was born in South Carolina.
Are you
I love
sure he's
it.
not British?
Yes, he
It
one of
says it
us.
says
100%
Brian.
that in
It
the
All
says
right.
comments.
Brian Tyree Henry, born 1982 in Fayetteville, North Carolina,
He
and
act too
then it
American.
says that
Oh,
his mother is Willow Dean Kaiser or Kaisery. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correct. When I click her name came up as the first African American woman to graduate from Columbia Law
Okay,
School,
all
the
right, no,
first
so okay,
feminine.
he
you
Black
better
American. I thought he
turn
was British.
up.
I'm tripping.
Right.
Oh
Okay.
I'm
yeah,
Hey,
tripping. I thought he was
he
hey,
is
British.
Black American, so he
Clock
from
All right,
the
that,
that's good.
story.
Queen.
Okay,
Now
hold
it
on.
don't say
Wait, wait,
it
wait,
don't
wait,
say his daddy. Now it don't say
wait,
what the
wait. We
daddy
talking
is.
about upcoming Black American actors. Oh,
It
Keith
only talk
Stanfield.
about his mama, so maybe I'll make room for maybe the dad because they don't talk about the dad. It just
Lakeith
named his
Stanfield. Hold on,
mama.
I was gonna say Lakeith Stanfield is an
man, you
upcoming
know,
Black
I
American
found
actor.
out last week Tiffany
Ain't
Haddish wasn't
Marsai
even
Martin? Is
like
she
Black
Black
American.
American? I know Mouse,
She's like mixed
Marsai
with.
Martin, Stormy Reed.
The point is, we got them out there. It's just that
We do.
they're not really getting the opportunities
Talisa, do
that
you
they
consider
need.
Chase Infinity Black American? Do you consider her black or
Who
biracial?
chasing? Who's that?
Chase Infinity, the biracial shorty who played on One Battle After Another, and she
Are really
playing
good with names.
Oh, I know who you talking
Right?
about.
Because I showed.
she playing in The Testaments right now, the show that's after The Handmaid's Tale.
What about Tyler James Williams? Would he could be considered young from Everybody Hates Chris?
Yes, he's still, even though he's been around since
I
like
mean, it
the
say that
early
she.
2000s.
Are you asking me if she? Do I consider her black or do I
Do you
consider her
consider biracial
American?
people black?
I mean, it depends on them. I let them tell me who they are.
What about Ryan Destiny?
Like
She
that.
ain't been in nothing though. Ryan Destiny.
I like me
I love
some
Ryan Destiny. She's so gorgeous.
Mahershala Ali.
Yeah, Mahershala Ali. But he's not. Is he? I don't know what
I
he is
don't
in real
know.
Yeah,
life.
what is
I don't even
Mahershala?
want
Hold
to
on,
know.
what is Mahershala Ali?
I think he's
He's
not
so handsome.
American. I don't
He's
think
not
he
new and
is.
up and coming either. He already has 2 Oscar wins. He's not a new
But
up
I
and coming.
don't know much about him,
Kind of
honestly.
young though, compared
No,
to
he's in his 50s. That's not young anymore. That's not young.
50s. Okay.
Yeah, and he has 2 Oscar wins too. Who else? I
What
gotta
about the
think.
guy who just played in a Marvel movie and they
I
cast
mean,
his
it
participation?
say
But
that
is he Black
Marshala
American?
is American.
Yeah, he black American.
Good.
It say
Awesome.
both of his parents is Philip Gilmore and Willisa Gilmore. And says that he was born here in America and that they're Americans too. So
Yeah, so he fully Black American. I think
for
he's only he was one of the few Black Americans who have 2 Oscar wins. I know Denzel has 1
and he's
Oscar.
clearly one of the Black Americans who decided to change their name when the whole Islam Nation
Yeah,
Yeah,
was a
clearly.
Pan
big push
Africanism.
Because
back in the day.
he both his Oscar wins are for supporting actors.
Because his clearly,
Because
Gilmore is clearly his last name, and Ali is clearly not, unless he one of the ones who changed his name. Lots of Black people did back in the day. Anyways, there's someone new on the panel. Would you like to say something on the topic, dear?
Hello.
Hello.
I feel like, I mean, this is obviously a really nuanced issue, and I mean, I found the skit to be funny, and I can't remember which YouTuber it was, but I think it was Julesy. I think she made a video about this very thing.
yeah, she did. Julesie's amazing.
And I think it has something. I find it interesting the way some of the non-Black Americans that I've seen talking about this have responded to it. Like, there was one person I came across. She was trying to draw parallels between Black British actors playing American roles to Black American actors playing African roles or Caribbean roles. And while I know that happens, I feel like I can count on like maybe one hand the amount of times I've seen that.
Yeah, and honestly,
it's a fair comparison.
Yeah, and honestly, in my personal opinion, I don't even think that is the same thing. Because like I said to someone earlier who was in here, like American productions are movies that are made by Americans for Americans. Like we're not making we're not making movies about Chinese people and then thinking real hard about how Chinese people would feel about
That's
how
not
we're making
true.
this movie. Unless you one of them companies that is taking money from China and then you might be trying to
That's
make sure
just
that you
not
don't piss them
that's
off.
just not
But
true at
like
all.
when we're depicting stories from other countries, we don't care about depicting those stories correctly or having somebody portray the story accurately. We're doing the best we can to entertain ourselves, other Americans. The same way in Germany's telling the story. They're not coming over to America and hiring Americans to fly back to Germany and do great acting in their country. They're not, going and
That
holding
is so
casting calls.
incorrect,
We're
bro.
not doing, flying around the globe doing casting calls for these roles. We're literally just trying to make movies in our own country.
That is
And
so
what I would
incorrect.
compare it to is like there's Nollywood in Nigeria right now. I've seen some Nollywood shows and movies that are really entertaining while I was getting my hair done. Okay, and so I know that Nollywood in Nigeria is popping off. Their entertainment industry is really robust right now and it is booming. If a bunch of
It's been
American
that way
actors
for
just flew
years.
over to Nigeria and started taking all the leading roles in all the Nigerian shows and doing poor accents, and then the Nigerian government turned around and was like, "You guys are doing such a great job depicting Nigerian culture. How did you guys learn this? How did you?" The Nigerians would feel some way. Local actresses and actors in Nigeria would feel some type of way about the hard work that they put into building up an entertainment industry. And then all of that money and all of the attention is being given to a group of people who had nothing to do with it. And then people are telling them that they're doing the better job playing you, performing you in your own country. That would be the equivalent.
Bruh, Nollywood has been a thing for 30 plus years and they have been doing the same thing. So why you just saying a whole lot of bullshit?
Well, they've been doing the same thing or what?
Nollywood did not just start coming up. Warren, you're wrong about that. Nollywood has been a thing for 30 plus
How
years.
long has Hollywood been around, sir? How long has
Nollywood
Hollywood been around?
for like 30 plus years.
How long has
than
Hollywood been around?
Hollywood. I don't fucking know about
Hollywood.
that. I don't care about Hollywood.
Hollywood has been around for over 100 years, sir.
Right, that's good. That's good. But I'm
Okay,
saying
Hollywood is the original film industry. So compared to me, America, your country Your
My
industry
my
being around
country,
30 years, that's
my
nothing. That's a
country,
drop in the bucket
my
to a
country is
100-year
American country.
industry. I'm so
My
sorry. I hate
country
to
is
break it to
American
you.
country. What are we talking about?
Additionally, my point is still
My
that
country is an
y'all built
American.
something
I'm an
of your
American. What are we
own. You
talking
built
about?
something of your own. My point
It
is
will
that
never be.
Nigerians
Yeah.
built their own Hollywood, their own entertainment industry, their own movie industry in their own country. If Americans started flying over there and taking all the
Bruh,
leading
it's
roles
been going
and
on for
taking
years, bro. What are we talking about? American has
He
been
came up here
what
acting in
just to be
roles?
Nollywood.
rude and lie.
American has been acting in Nollywood for the past centuries, bro. What are we talking
What
about?
roles is them? Name them.
Even British people has been acting in
Name the roles
Nollywood.
that Black Americans have flew over and played in
Who
Nollywood
the fuck
movies.
is talking about Black Americans, bro?
That's
What are we
what the
talking about?
prompt is
Oh,
And
about.
he not even
That's
bruh,
American.
literally what the
where does the prompt say Black Americans
This
on here?
is what the
We're talking
prompt is
about actors. We're talking about
about.
actors in general. We're talking about actors
I
in
mean,
general.
I would like to know
No,
who.
I'm gonna let you
And he
take a
said for
walk because
centuries.
you just up here to argue and you're not up here to actually have a conversation. Really take some time to conform your thoughts and come back up here because right now you're just reacting. You're not actually trying to have a conversation. Who is it talking about Black American as if the sketch isn't about how Black British actors are stepping into Black American roles?
And
What are we even talking about?
okay, I
And
find
I
the
want.
Nollywood comparison
Let Sean go. Or is
interesting.
it Sean
Oh, I'm
now?
sorry.
Or Chanel or Shane? I'm sorry. Is it Shane? Who is this?
Oh, I'm in it. I didn't know I was in it.
Yeah,
Okay, so we
you.
were talking about because y'all
you.
were talking about like the Africans would get mad. As an African, we don't get mad like when like other roles play our race unless they do it badly. If they do it good, we're like, because it's really hard to like a really good African accent is really hard to do the same way a British accent is really hard to do. I feel like the reason why you see a lot of British people doing good in American roles rather than the vice versa. It happens with white people too. Um, the American accent is a lot easier to learn or to imitate when your formal accent is an accent where you have to enunciate more. All British people and Africans have to do is enunciate less. And it's not really that hard to imitate. Now, like if it's like a Southern American accent, that's a whole different topic. But like the general, it's not that difficult to do. And even you see it with white people. White American actors can't do good British accents either. It's not just a black thing, you know?
Right, but the conversation is about Black people because we're talking about cultural erasure, right? So I don't care really if a white person cannot do a Black British or a white British person's accent because Black British people are never at risk of being eroded away because British is a colonizing force, so there's no erasing them, right? Because they force their way of living
Are
onto
you talking
everybody
about
else.
like erasure in Hollywood, or what are we talking about in
We're
erasure
talking
sense of
about
what?
cultural erasure because one of the reasons why Black people push back on having so many various ethnicities play Black Americans is because America likes to pretend as if slavery was so long ago. They don't know who the descendants of slaveries are, and that Black Americans, we're not those descendants of those people. We're different from them. So when we ask to play characters who we descend from, they go, "Oh, well, that doesn't really matter. It's not a big thing. And that was so long ago. Who even remembers all that? Like, that's not a big deal." So whenever they want to erase our culture, they go and outsource it to other races, other people, like the Black British people. They'll have them come in and play a
But
role,
we're all the same race though. And we've
but
all
we're all not the
Black
same
British
So
people
what?
were
ethnicity.
enslaved
But we're all
also.
not the
So
same
were Cuban. I
ethnicity.
mean, like the
But we're not all the
Hispanics.
same
Like
ethnicity, and we're talking about
that's
ethnic
true.
erasure. That's what we're talking
But
about.
what
We're
I feel
talking
like
about
if
ethnic
we're talking
erasure.
about like film, I feel like race matters in a film when like if the story you're telling, the race has to be important and be able to be understandable. I feel like any movie about
It
slavery, whether it's played
does.
by a black actor, a British actor, African actor, could be understood by black people because we all have the same struggle. You
No,
know,
we
Yeah,
it's
you
not
don't.
can,
like it's a
but
white
we're
Yeah,
person
not
I
doing it.
get
talking
what you're
about
saying.
understanding who can understand slavery and understand its harm. White people can understand that slavery is bad and that it's harmful and they ain't never even went through it, but they can see That's
No,
hard. But we're talking about people
yeah.
who can understand the cultural nuances and the history of slavery from the lived experience. And why we know that Hollywood likes to push their own narrative about slavery, about the civil rights era, and about Black Americans people. So if America is trying to push a false agenda or putting a false narrative in a movie that they're quoting as historical, and you're not Black American, you don't know that history, you don't know those cultural nuances, you don't have the ability or know that you should be speaking out or pushing back on it. Or maybe you
One,
feel like it ain't even your
yeah,
place because it's not your culture to even be speaking out on correcting on. So when Black
yeah, I
Americans are
understand.
the ones who are in those places or in those positions, we'll be the ones to be like, hey, I don't think that Martin would have said this, or I don't think that this isn't how it went during those times. And Hollywood don't want to have to deal with that. They don't want to have to deal with somebody who's going to question the agenda they're putting forth, who's going to check the history that they're trying to put, who's going to check the way that they're trying to characterize a Black character. They don't want to deal with that. So they much rather go to somebody who doesn't have that cultural connection or that history to portray a story, because then they don't have to worry about making sure that it's accurate.
I think you're disregarding one thing. What's called, even though like American history is known more than Americans, but I don't think, like, since you guys haven't lived in the rest of the world most of the time, American culture is fed throughout is forced down the throats of the rest of the world.
It's not
People
forced. You
know
don't have to
American
engage.
history on a general basis,
You don't
especially
have to
like when they're more
engage.
educated, you know? I
Right,
feel,
but that
So
history
I
especially
isn't
was
being
education system
one
is
more
another
forced.
time
thing. I
in.
feel like the British education system definitely is a better system to teach you about
That's not
history
true.
more than the American. Now, will they skew it to the British more than the American? Obviously, but we do it too.
Okay,
But
but at the
the
end of the day, what we are saying is what you're being force fed through the media is bullshit. That is white supremacy that is force feeding
yes,
you.
but that's not
So
going to
if
change whether it's a
unless it's
black,
coming
it's an
directly
American actor
from,
or a
unless
British
it's
actor.
coming
That's just,
directly from Black Americans, then you are being force fed propaganda. And the
I
reason why
agree.
they are not hiring Black Americans onto these sets to play these roles is because they don't want anybody who's going to challenge the propaganda, because that is what we were doing. That is
Yep.
the history of Black people in Hollywood, questioning them for the roles, challenging them for the ways they're typecasting Black people, pushing back when they mischaracterize or try to demonize a Black man or a Black woman in a film. This is the way that
You
historically
know,
Black
all
people
these
have showed
issues
up in
happen in
Hollywood.
Britain as well, right? They
Wait,
have
It's
these same
I
issues
can't
that
hear
go on.
you when I'm talking, so I didn't
Oh,
hear none of that. What you
my bad.
said? What did
I
you
said
say?
all those same issues, like how black people are structured within Hollywood or whatever, go on in Britain as well. Like they're a
When
minority
do
in that
what did
country. The
I
only
say
difference
that
is
would
that,
suggest that's not the case? None of that what I
so
said
it's not
suggests
like,
is that
I don't
that's not the
understand the
case.
difference
The
of it being
difference
British and
is that
American.
instead of staying there and dealing with their issues, they're coming over here and being used by white supremacy to culturally erase our history.
But
While we're here in
the
our
Americans
country trying
also
to
know their
push
Do y'all
history
back,
have
erased
an
by white
open
while
panel?
supremacy.
we're here in our country trying to push back on the way Hollywood is treating us and on their representation on how they're doing us, they're instead of giving us these roles and making those concessions that we're asking for, they're giving those roles to Black British actors who are not making those requests and are not making those demands or those types of concessions.
I have a
Is
So
this an
question.
open
they are
panel? Y'all let
escaping
other
their
people
problem
talk?
in their country by coming to our country and
Oh, my
being
bad. Go ahead, my boy.
used to put us down and to keep us from the roles and killing our own history.
Yo, can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yes,
Yo,
bro. You are
Brent.
absolutely right. Thank
Hey,
you.
yo,
Thank you.
yo,
Somebody had to say it, bro.
Brent.
What?
Thank you, Prince. I respect it, but let whatever.
Yeah, let him
I'm
talk.
sorry. Introduce yourself, and then Prince come in after that.
Hey, I'm Uncle Rick. I'm foundational Black American. Britain did not have a birth of a nation. Britain did not have a birth of a nation. They did not have Jim Crow. Jim Crow was started from the movie industry. Them depicting us in the wrong light. Britain didn't have that. You said y'all all been through slavery, but it wasn't the same with us. It wasn't the same. Our
In
babies
what
was
sense
getting
was it
fed to
not the same?
alligators.
Well,
Y'all
American
babies
chattel
did never
slavery
get.
was different than any other type of chattel slavery. That is
All the
Yeah,
same
historical
tortures
fact.
and
we was.
atrocities that have happened
Hold
in
up,
the
can I
United
say?
States
Can I
slavery
talk?
What do you
happened
mean?
Can I
in
talk?
Okay,
Can I
again.
talk? Can I talk? Hey, bro, you don't know nothing about you. You don't know nothing about our lineage like that, bro. So you just talking about things you don't know about. Our babies been fed to alligators, bro. You feel me? We've been castrated. You feel me? We've been through too
Okay.
much. I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah,
come
yeah,
on,
yeah.
bro.
Get to your point. We don't have
We.
to
I,
relegate to him. You don't have to talk to him.
Yeah,
I understand. I understand. I'm speaking real though. You feel me? I'm not trying to compromise with nobody, but at the same time, Britain didn't have a birth of a nation. They did not have Jim Crow. They ain't go through the same things we went through. You feel me? They don't have the Majara spirit that we have. I don't think Denzel Washington couldn't nobody play Malcolm X like he played it. He had that spirit. It was just something about it. Most of these movies where
And
they
they did
play
not want to give him
parts,
that Oscar for that role. They did
yeah,
not want to
yeah.
give him that Oscar
Look,
for that role. He did
yeah,
so great.
most of these movies that they play anyway, it flops. Like Harriet Tubman with Cynthia Erivo, flopped. Ain't nobody watched that. She ain't had a spirit. She ain't feel it. Like it wasn't the spirit is not there. You feel me with us? Like at the end of the day. She don't know what the lineage is like. She don't know that. Like we fought all the way through. We
Okay,
don't
go ahead
turn the
and
other
land
cheek.
your
And I
plane there.
let and I land my plane there.
I appreciate it, and I do agree with that. And we just want to be, I want to be clear, just piggybacking off of what he said. We're not suggesting that other countries did not go through slavery or that other countries didn't experience things that were awful or that were terrible. But we are acknowledging that American chattel slavery was a very unique type of slavery, the most unique and one of a kind in history. This is not our opinion. This is not my opinion. This is facts. This is historical
exactly.
evidence. This is documented.
Exactly.
They have said this time and time and again. American chattel slavery was one of a kind. It did not exist anywhere except for in America. That is not taking away the fact that Haiti had slavery, that Jamaica had slavery, that Brazil had slavery, that in the UK there was slavery. That's not taking away that fact. It's just to say that all of the slaveries were different, and the one in America was different, unique, and one of a kind. It's a one of a kind, unique
Precisely.
experience that no one else can share with us because unless you went through it, you cannot say that you had the same experience. And I'm going to highlight for y'all the clear difference, right? People in Haiti knew that they were being enslaved. They knew that they were taken from Africa and they were brought to Haiti and they were being forced into slavery. They knew that they were being captured and taken against their will and being forced into slavery. America is the only place where they taught the slaves that they were born slaves. You were born a slave. You were not captured and forced into slave. They taught slaves that they were born a slave. And because they were born with darker skin, that was their role, was to be a slave. No questions about it. That was not the way the Haitians were enslaved. That was not the way the Jamaicans were enslaved. That was not the way the South Brazilians were enslaved. All of those people understood that they were people who were being forced into enslavement. They were not people who were taught that they were born slaves. Okay, very two
Most
different
for
things.
it's a
Go ahead
generation. It's a
and
couple of
Born
errors
born
where
I need to
into
let
slavery.
I
Prince
get the
come in.
idea
Hold on,
because
Not
All
guys.
right,
taught,
all
Hold
right.
born
on.
It's my
into
turn.
slavery.
Okay,
there's
pipe
Hold
down.
history
It's
on.
my
Hold on,
turn.
everybody.
I
Everybody,
get
one at
it,
a
but
time.
Pipe
it's just a
down. It's
few
Again,
my
errors.
turn.
one at a time. It is Prince's turn, and then I believe that Lab. I don't know if I'm saying that is after
Yeah, you
him.
can just say lab. I just want to correct the errors. That's all.
Okay, no problem. Go ahead, Prince, and then Lab, and then we'll open it back up.
So my name is Prince. I am from San Francisco, California, the Bay Area. And I just wanted to basically just thank you for everything you were saying because I was just so happening to go by and everything you said just finally chimed with me because a lot of people they tend to be up here just saying anything. You know what I'm saying? But the reality is these other so-called black people from these different continents and things like that, y'all need to realize like black Americans, we have a completely different lived experience. You know what I'm saying? Which is why we have so much influence, which is why you guys all are so willing to abandon your countries and come here and be up under us. Let's be very clear. Our influence is undeniable. You know what I'm saying? But you have to understand by you participating in white supremacy and the erasure and the replacement of the black American experience, you are just as bad as these white folks that you claim that have oppressed you because you're allowing yourselves to be used as tools. And then you proceed to act as if we're the problem for calling it out. And that's not the case. At the end of the day, these roles are specifically given to hand-picked non-black Americans for a reason. Let's be very clear. These are not roles that are just, oh, this person was just available and it just so happened. No, this is very specific to us. And this is like a form of just manipulation by white supremacy, and you guys are allowing yourselves to be used, and will we call it out instead of you being respectable enough to say, yes, we shouldn't be allowing this to happen. We shouldn't be allowing them to use us to tell someone else's story. You guys proceed to actually act as if you have some type of moral high ground to take these roles. Like, you don't. You don't have the lived experience. You don't see us coming to your countries and playing your roles and trying to act as if we're you and understand where you come from, because we don't. All we ask for is respect in the same way. And you guys refuse to give us that respect. You come here and you act as if you have some type of moral high ground to our space. You do not. You do not have any moral high ground to be in America in black spaces and take on black roles, sit in political seats to make decisions for black people. You don't. If you want to make some shit shake, if you want to make some shit change, you go change shit from where you from. You have a home to go back to. If you want to go back to Africa, the Caribbean, wherever that is, that's where you go and you make change. You don't come here and speak upon the Black American experience and try to call yourself making some change, because that's not how shit works. Period. The only reason you're here is to spite Black Americans. Let me be very clear. You are being used as a tool of white supremacy. Period. That's it, and that's all. I'll land my plane here.
And I want to say, like, just to like piggyback off of that, like, truthfully, I was thinking about this earlier when I was talking to one of my friends, because they're debating on whether they should go back or whether they should stay here and just keep their fingers crossed that ICE don't never show up and knock at their door. And we was having an honest conversation, and I was like, truthfully, we need from some of y'all to go back to your home countries and start to tell the truth about what the hell is happening over here. For too long, white America has been the only one controlling the narrative of what America is, what it means to be a Black American, what it means to be white America, how America is treating. For a long time, America's been able to push the narrative that Black people are just lazy criminals, and that's why we're over policed, and that's why we're over jailed. But now that y'all are here and you see the truth, go home and tell your people, hey, that's a devil country over there. They're eating children over there.
Instead of rolling with the misconception.
Do not believe that what they're saying. Instead of believing what white supremacy and then coming back and talking about how Black Americans is lazy and don't have culture and like, we need y'all to go back and
arguing boring points.
But go ahead and what, Lab? Go ahead, Lab. It's your turn, and then we'll open the panel back up to everybody.
Yeah, peace. Before anybody starts, my people from Baltimore City, Black Baltimore since 1890, was in Charleston in the Gullah for 200 years before that. So just to be clear, before anybody gets it the wrong way, my only issue is just a couple of things just within the argument, talking about chattel slavery in particular. It wasn't one style of chattel slavery in what we call the United States, because every group of Europeans had a different perspective. But the most violent form of chattel slavery was implemented by the British at first, and then followed up by the government of the United States. So first and foremost, the British colonized the Caribbean, and they sent so-called rebellious slaves from the colonies in the United States to Jamaica. After the Revolutionary War, they sent 20,000 enslaved African people from the colonies to England, and some of them got sold back to the United States.
But what does that have to do with us?
I'll explain. The argument that only chattel slavery was in the continental United States.
No one ever said that.
So no one made that. Hold on, Prince. I got it.
The statement that was made is that it was only like that in the United States. I'm clarifying very clearly.
That's not what anybody said. Only like
you
what?
Literally said that. If you listen to this,
literally said only like what? Only like what?
Only like you said the chattel slavery of America. There was nothing else like it anywhere else. That's literally what you said.
I said the type of chattel slavery in America was unique and one of a kind. It wasn't like any of the other places.
And that's what I'm saying is incorrect.
I didn't say that it didn't happen.
No. I didn't say about didn't happen. I'm saying the type. The first
right, and you acknowledge that there was different types of chattel slavery. Give me a brief amount of time, and I'll
lay it out before you have time to argue back. I'll give you 90 seconds of facts.
No, I want to have a conversation. I don't want you lecturing at me.
It's not a lecture, but if you're not listening,
sir,
okay. So what's the question? All right, what's the question?
So hear me out, okay? Like I just said, What I said was that there was unique types of chattel slavery, and the one in America was unique. It was different from the other types of chattel slavery.
Okay,
You
so now I can
acknowledge
answer.
that there were
Okay,
different types of chattel slavery.
right, and I'll
So
now you
how are
asked the
you?
question. Okay,
How are
what
what you
question?
saying different from what I said?
Okay, so I can answer. All right. So first and foremost, what I'm trying to explain to you is a historical timeline. And it's not my opinion. It's not a feeling. It's
I
not a
don't need a
vibe. You
timeline. I
do,
need you to
because the
answer what
difference in
I
chattel
said. I
slavery was
already know what
dependent
the
upon.
timeline
Hold on.
is. We
You
don't
asked
need
the
a
Bro,
question.
timeline.
don't none
I
of that
need
shit
You
you
asked me a
to
matter.
question.
answer
I
what
can't
I
answer.
said.
Y'all should
Can I
be over
answer the
there
question?
thinking it. Period. Y'all go.
But you're not letting me
I
answer the
don't need a
question.
lengthy, long-winded. I don't need a
I haven't
timeline.
spoke for
I
30
need
seconds straight.
you to answer what I'm
Put me on
saying.
a timer. Let me
How is
answer.
what you
I can answer in
saying
less time
different
than you
from what
interrupt.
I said?
Okay, my
Lab,
turn.
she know her history. She don't need a
So let me
timeline.
answer,
We was
or
here
I'm
for
not allowed to
generations
answer.
and generations. That was different in the
Please let
Caribbean. That's
me
why they
answer. And
more closer to
everything that's
African
being done
Just
now
culture.
is a
don't
Because
deflection.
monologue.
Africa
So
came was so
again,
brutal.
How
It
is it
was
a
I need
monologue
you
different.
if
to
I'm
get
being
to the. I
interrupted
don't
every
need a
time I speak?
timeline. I need you to answer my
I'm
question
answer. Okay, will you allow me to answer the question the
in the
way
way
I?
I want to answer, because I
Well,
don't want a
if you
lengthy,
want me to answer a
long-winded
question the way
answer. I don't
you
need you
want
to
it, you
go
have
through
to
a
set the
timeline.
parameters. How do you want me to answer it? Let's try
I
that.
don't want you to go through a timeline. I want you to give me the synapses.
Okay, the
Give me the
synopsis is
thesis
this. All right,
statement.
so please allow me. Based on each group of Europeans, a different style of chattel slavery was introduced. The British had the longest period in the continental United States of America, and that style was the same style in the Caribbean. Didn't take an hour to say that. So the British introduced seasoning and buck breaking. The Spanish, the French, the Dutch, the Germans, they did not practice that. That was a British practice. It was implemented by the British and then carried on after the Revolutionary War by the United States.
Okay, but
So
You're
again,
I answered
literally
the
hold
question.
proving
It
on,
our
hold
didn't
on.
take an
point.
hour.
I don't
I
need
gave
a
you a direct
lengthy,
answer.
long history. I don't need all that. All I needed was the synapses. Again, no one's disputing what you said. But what my point was is that the difference between the slavery that was taking place in the Caribbeans versus American chattel slavery is that the slaves in the Caribbean and in Jamaica knew that they were being captured and enslaved. They remember where they were being brought from. They remember that they were a free people who were captured and then forced into slavery. The difference between the rest of them is that once slavery was abolished in all the other areas, and once Haiti freed itself and Jamaica freed itself, America continued slavery, and they created a new form which said that black people were born slaves. And they taught the slaves that they were born slaves. They didn't teach them that they were captured and then forced into slavery. They taught them that they were born slaves. You're a slave because that's what you were born to be. You're a slave because that's who you are. That's who you are. That's who you'll always be. That's who you'll be forever. Your children will be slaves. Your children's
Is the
children
Your
will be
fear that
lineage
I'm
was
slaves.
going to
Your
never
great
ripped
expose
great
from
something you
you.
don't
grandparents
know?
will be
Is that the
Still
slaves.
Your
fear?
going
lineage
on
I've
was
never
never
today.
ripped
feared.
from
That's the
you.
difference.
If I'm a
That's
fool,
the
Still
let me
going
difference.
know.
That's
on
the
You know
today.
where
difference.
you came from.
But if I'm
That's
a
the
fool,
difference.
So
Your
you shouldn't
lineage
have
was
to
hold on,
never
hold on,
ripped
hold on.
from
expose
Y'all
you. We
talking
were
at the
myself.
taught
same time,
to
and I
lose
can't, I
every
can't, I
time
can't
we
at the
lost.
same time. Y'all all talking at the
We were
same time. You know,
No,
everybody box is
I'm
like
saying
that.
something specific because this is an error that many people make. Every region in the United States, every group of Europeans that committed the atrocity of chattel slavery had different versions. What I'm saying is very simple. The British in particular, after Asientos de Negros was finally wiped out in the 16th century and into the 17th century, the British took over the slave trade. In doing so, they introduced something called the seasoning process, and it was executed to erase African
Oh
consciousness
my God,
in
Okay,
bro.
the
but
What the
Caribbean.
what
fuck?
is your
This is
point?
just,
What
Move on.
you're
What does
going
this
on
have to
this
do with the
lengthy
prompt?
ass
Bro.
history, and
it's
that
facts
has
that you
Like,
nothing
don't
you're
to do with
know.
what
literally
I'm
You don't know the
proving
saying.
facts. I'm
I
teaching you something you need.
Prompt,
I don't what
prompt.
I
Yeah.
don't need to be taught
You do
anything. I
because you
don't
got
need
too
to be
much
taught anything.
misinformation. And
You haven't
you make black
disproven
folks
my
look bad
point.
when you don't know the story of your.
You haven't disproven my point yet.
I mean, I have, but you mute me every time I
No,
do.
you haven't.
Okay,
You
so what
haven't
so
disproven
what
what
Prompt,
I've
I
said
though.
said.
disprove what I've said. The British introduced seasoning, and they
Sir,
controlled
you
the
came up
they
You
here
don't know what
controlled the
disproving what
colonies
I
seasoning is,
had to
on
sir.
the
say.
mainland and
Y'all,
in
please stop
Jamaica
coming
and
off
in
of
the
mute.
Caribbean.
I
That's a
promise
fact.
y'all, I got this conversation with him.
Wait a
I
minute. What
so
what what
promise
are you
you.
debating? Are you
I don't
saying
really
the
know
British
him.
didn't colonize the
You
Caribbean?
came up
And
here, sir, saying that you were trying to correct what I said
I
about how
did, and
American
did,
chattel
and
slavery
did, and
was the
did,
most unique form of
and
slavery.
did,
It was one of a kind.
and
You
And
did.
did
still
not.
I
have
corrected.
not addressed
I
what
directly
I
addressed it.
said is the
This nigga writing
reason
a whole
on why
soliloquy.
America is. You still have not addressed what I said when I
Nothing. He
said the
ain't addressed
reason
nothing, and it's
why
irritating me.
slavery in America was unique to all the other slaveries in the other Caribbeans and the rest of the world. You haven't addressed what I
Yeah, I
said.
actually did. I told you that the style of
Exactly, bro.
slavery
Like,
came from the Europeans that committed it. You don't want to
What?
accept
You
reality.
said
You think
what?
slavery
Bro.
floated out of heaven?
You said
Slavery
what?
came from
You said
Europeans.
what? Okay, now please try again.
The
You
British
said what?
colonized the United States, what became the United States, and they colonized Caribbean. Their style of slavery was in all of their colonies.
But it
Facts. No,
changed.
it did
It
not. It,
changed. You sitting here talking about timelines, you would
the
know that
erasure of African
American chattel
consciousness.
slavery was birthed after the American Revolutionary
No, it
War.
did
It was
not.
birthed after the
1739, the
end of
I
the
Spartan.
agree.
transatlantic slave trade. If you're not gonna listen, when I let you
I'm
go on
giving
your
you
whole little
facts.
ranty thingy, you
1730.
said that I let you get your thesis statement out. So let me get mine out.
No, you haven't
Okay?
let me
Because
get
if
nothing
you were
out.
sitting here talking about a timeline, do you know that a way America enslaved the slaves changed after the transatlantic slave trade came to an end?
No, it
After it was
didn't.
outlawed
Wait
for
a
you
minute.
to bring
Just to be
slaves
clear.
from
Wait a minute. Hold on.
Africa
I'm gonna
to
ask a question.
America, America had to change their
Maybe
tactics
I'm
on
misunderstanding. Are you talking
slavery.
about Jim Crow?
Sir, no, I'm talking about American
Are you
slavery.
talking about chattel
You
slavery?
do know that the 13 original colonies was not America, right? We know that the 13 original colonies became
Ooh.
America. The 13 original colonies was British first.
Know that
So once
history?
the country of America was founded,
Dang, bro. It
boom,
wasn't.
once America, the country was founded, boom, that's a new thing. America
That's
is a
not a new
new
thing.
entity.
Y'all have a lot of
It
Boom.
was
And
not the
misunderstandings.
then after
same.
the country was founded and the transatlantic trade slave was brought to an end, meaning that they were not allowed to go to Africa and bring slaves to America anymore. They were not allowed to go to Africa and
And they
bring
kept doing it till
slaves into the
1860.
Caribbeans anymore. And they wanted to continue to have slaves. They birthed a new type of chattel slavery,
It wasn't a
which
new type.
then
That's
they
your mistake.
created
You're making
breeder
an error.
houses.
That's an error.
We're
Jesus.
talking
He's
about the
crashing
Listen,
American
out.
you're
era,
talking about the
sir. We're
end of the.
talking about American chattel slavery. If we want to talk
How you
about
gonna play
British
defense against the
slavery, we
facts?
can talk about British chattel slavery. But we're talking about America chattel slavery. We're talking about the
The
chattel
British
slavery that
model was
happened
the
in
American model.
America between the times of when America was
The
founded
British
and
style
when
is the American
America
style.
abolished.
Exactly.
It's the same style.
Sir, you just want to hear yourself talk. If you're
Period.
not
Because
gonna
this is
listen
annoying.
to try to comprehend and try to come to a compromise, we can't even have a conversation because all you want to do is be right. You came up here to be right, and you didn't come up here to actually have a conversation. Because if you actually did, then you would have to concede to the fact that when we say American chattel slavery is different and unique, American chattel slavery is different than British chattel slavery. They're different.
That's a fact. Even in
So
the
I'm not.
Caribbean, real quick, even in the Caribbean, right? The slavery was different. The framework and the structure was different because they was doing the sugar canes. So they were unaliving them quickly. You know what I'm saying? We was here for generations. That's one way. Also, it was different. We was enslaved for generation. Like if the mom was a slave, the kid was automatically a slave, even if they was mulatto.
Exactly.
The
And
Caribbean,
then
they was
the
running through them
first black
people.
people to come to America came here as indentured servants. Some of them earned their freedom fighting in the Revolutionary War. America
Exactly.
has always had freed black people right alongside enslaved black people since the founding of this country because black people participated in the Revolutionary War. But when we're talking about America chattel slavery, we're only talking about the periods of time between when the country was founded and when slavery was abolished in this country because that is
Exactly.
when American chattel slavery was
We
created.
have a whole
American chattel
Independence Day.
slavery is birthed out of the end of the transatlantic slave trade because
Exactly.
America needed a way to continue its
Exactly.
production of slaves. And so they created the concept that you're a slave from birth because of your race. Because you're black,
And they
you were born a
specifically,
slave. And that is not how slavery
they
worked in the Caribbean, in Jamaica, Haiti, any of those other
exactly,
countries, because they knew they were Africans being kidnapped. They knew their history. They
exactly,
knew where they
they
came
knew where they were
from.
from. Exactly.
Too
They
deep.
were never robbed of their entire existence. Never were they robbed of their entire existence. Never were they robbed of the fact that they had to. Never were they robbed of the fact that they knew
They
where they
were
came from.
people and that they were
Period.
African
That's false.
people.
That's just false. I mean,
It's
respectfully,
not false. They
it's
know that they're
incorrect.
Africans
You don't
to
know
this
American
No, I
day.
do
history,
know.
so
I
why you
actually do
even
know. Like,
commenting
we
on it?
can meet
If
up
that was
anywhere on
false,
this planet.
if
We can
that
do a
was false,
Zoom,
if that
however
was
you want.
false, then why do
I
right
teach
now
it for real.
today
I'm not
when you
like a
talk to
play
any of
actor
you
on
guys from
TikTok.
the UK, when you talk to anybody from the UK right now today, the first thing they want to ask you is where you from. Oh, where are you really from? Where are you really from? If that was the case, then that wouldn't even be a question because
That
you
doesn't
guys
even
would
make
be in the
sense. What
same
does that
boat as
have to do
us.
with
But
anything I
you're
said?
not. What do
That's
you mean?
irrelevant.
What do you
I'm talking
mean?
about, all right,
You
so
know where you're
See,
from.
what she
You
is
guys are
saying that
racist
you're
that
where you're
has
supposed to not
from.
nothing to do with
understand
what I
is that
said.
if slavery was the same everywhere,
No,
they
I didn't
would
say
not
it was
be
the same
asking us
everywhere.
where we're
That
from
see,
because
this is
they
the
would
problem.
know
You're
that
on
you're
defense.
saying you literally are suggesting that chattel slavery was all the same, that American chattel slavery was not a unique thing, that it was just like all the other chattel slaveries. That's what you're saying. So if it was the same, then they wouldn't be asking us where we're really from because they wouldn't know where they're really from either, and they would have an understanding that there's no way we could know where we're from. But they continue
Exactly.
to ask us that question because they don't have that experience.
Exactly.
A lot of them were allowed to continue to maintain their African culture. This is why all over Afro Latin, in the
When a
Latin
person's
culture,
wrong, you don't have to
you see
silence them.
tons of
That's
And
white
not to
African
folks shit.
mention
That's
influence.
what white folks do. White folks try to silence the
the
truth.
first time one of you
Black
get
folks don't
irritated or the
silence it.
first
You
time one of y'all
expose
get mad, the
a
first thing
falsehood.
you like to say,
If you're right, just expose me.
Sir, I done expose you and you keep not responding, but you keep talking and you try to talk over me, interrupt me when I'm talking, and then when I don't talk and ask you to respond to what I said, you don't say anything. You don't push back on my point. My point was always that America, after the end of the transatlantic slave trade, created a new type of chattel slavery so that they can continue the production of slaves. That's what I said. Now you can't say that the Caribbeans had that same chattel slavery because by the time that happened, Haiti was free. Jamaica was also free. So there was no need for the British to create a new form of slavery in the Caribbean colonies when Haiti and Jamaica were already free. America had to do that because America wanted to continue the production of slavery. So if you're going to push back on what I say, you're going to have to actually show me how America chattel slavery is not a unique
If you let
system
me
of chattel
speak,
slavery.
okay. First of all, if you let me
it's like
speak,
y'all
I will
trying to
have
play
no
both
problem getting to
sides
the
of the
point.
fence, bro.
Yeah,
You
go
You
ahead
hold
can't
on
play
every
and
both
time.
go
So
ahead
you're
and let
saying
him
I'm
Prince.
interrupting
I
you.
want him to
I was
answer this
quiet.
one uninterrupted because after this, I'm dead in this topic and I'm moving on to somebody else on the panel. Actually, I'm gonna have to end the live because I gotta go cook dinner. So I'm gonna let you finish what you got to say and then I'm moving on.
All right,
So go ahead.
you don't mind, I'm gonna set a timer because I'm gonna keep myself in a range of respect. I don't want to go too long. Is that okay? Can I set a timer for myself?
I'll let you know when you're going
No,
too
I just
long.
want to, just for my own.
Just please, just
So,
talk.
hold on 1 second. I just need this just for my own record. Okay, let me start this. I'm gonna see how long it takes me to drop it.
Please go
So,
already.
So, once again, the context of chattel slavery as an institution begins in the 15th century. Okay, so that's where it starts. Different Europeans had different versions of chattel slavery. In this time period, up until 1860, when the last slave ship came to America, Clotilda in Alabama, Zora Neale Hurston did a biography on the last living
Blah,
slave.
blah, blah. Get to the point.
But see, this is my thing. I'm not even taking up 30 seconds and you interrupted.
Blah, blah,
Just let
blah.
me
Because you were about
finish.
to go on a
Because
dialogue
you're
on why
not
it's
saying
important.
nothing.
Just
Wow.
get to the point.
I was
You ain't
that
got to
was
tell me
15
about
seconds.
the history of the
That
Clotilda.
was 15
Just say the
seconds.
Clotilda and move
That's
on.
wild. That's wild. That's why I timed it. So in any event, During the period that chattel slavery was in the North America, the Western Hemisphere, particularly, there was different Europeans. The style that was the erasure of African consciousness, which was seasoning and buck breaking. The British invented it. And they invented this system, and it was then carried on by the Americans. It was the same system. Just like we speak English, it's the same language. Just because the United States was formed in 1776 doesn't mean they stopped doing everything they were doing with the British. Clearly, we see the evidence of that in the society. My point was, the British are the most violent examples of chattel slavery. They happen to be the people that colonized the United States and the Caribbean. To your point, to agree with your point, to agree with you, when you look at the French, particularly in places like what was the old Louisiana, it was not as violent as what the British did. After 1739, the Stonewall Rebellion in South Carolina, the British banned all African language, African tradition, African drums, anything related to Africa in 1739. It was the law. From that point forward, it was a complete erasure of identity during the time the British still controlled what we now call the United States. So my point was simply to say, wherever the British were, that system is the same as what occurs in the original 13 colonies. That's a fact. That's not an opinion. When you get to Louisiana, when you get to New York, when you're talking about the Dutch that colonized New York, Sojourner Truth, that's a different type of slavery that was in the 13 colonies. In Louisiana, they were allowed to still have their drums at Congo Square in New Orleans.
Okay, sir, you're
That's a different
monologuing
type
now.
of
You're
chattel slavery.
monologuing. You're
No, I
monologuing
don't
now.
monologue. I'm dropping jewels,
You're
baby. You can't.
monologuing now.
I'm
You
talking.
made your
Just go ahead and
point.
follow me, shorty.
You made
It's
your
the end of
point.
the
You're
semester. I'm having
monologuing.
fun.
Okay, exactly. You're done. Again, you did not disprove my point. You went on to everything you said really just reinforced my point. Literally everything you said.
It's my duty to explain, not
All
to
you said
understand for
was
you.
everything you said reinforced my
Everything
point.
you said was reinforcing
Reinforced
what
what
we've
I
been saying.
said. Literally, everything you
Prove
said
it.
just reinforced what
All
I
right,
said. That
prove it.
American chattel
Prove it.
slavery was different. It was unique
It was
from
not
the
different
other
from British
forms
chattel
of chattel
slavery.
slavery that happened.
It was not
And it was
different than
different
British.
from British chattel slavery in the fact that the British, again, though they may have been banning people from using drums or whatever, they never told people that they were enslaved because they were black. It was always you were enslaved because you got captured or you was sold. It wasn't a thing that you were a slave because you were born a slave because you were black until after the transatlantic
No,
slave
race
trade
was invented in
ended. And
1734 by Carl Linnaeus.
Bro, it's like y'all
sir,
literally trying to play
just
both
because
sides
of
of the
that was
fence.
when race was invented, that does not mean that was when race codes were
I'm sorry, you
invented.
just don't know
We're
enough.
talking about race codes. We're talking about slave codes. Okay? We're talking
I'm
about the
bullying you
new
right now.
slave
This isn't fair.
codes that America put out after the end of the transatlantic slave trade.
Code Noir started with the French. What are you talking about? You
I
don't
never
know
said
enough.
no code noir.
You need a
I never
teacher. I'm gonna be
said
real
no
with you.
code noir.
That's what a
I
black
said
code
the
is.
slave codes. And
So
slave
what
codes can be put
conclusion?
out
Yeah,
at different
you need a
times.
teacher, beloved. You need to read more and you need a teacher.
Sir, you need to stop
You're
being
not gonna be able to
so.
TikTok your way through this.
Sir, you are the only one. You're
Boy,
so
what are
hell
you
bent on
talking about?
proving.
You're sitting here trying to list unsolidified facts like nothing that you.
Yeah, look, sir, you're sitting here trying to argue with me. Okay, and everything you're saying
Unsolidified facts. Nothing you said was
you
solidified
just
at
backed
all.
up what I said. You literally backed up the fact that chattel
I
slavery
think
was not all the same. You
I
literally backed up the fact that you just wanted to be right. So you came up here just to argue the
Right.
fact
You
that
know, you
America
just want
chattel
to be like
slavery
Black
is the
Americans.
same. You literally just got up here to argue that American chattel slavery is the same as British chattel slavery, and no, they were not. They were not the same. They were not the same. And then you acknowledge that, oh, there were different types of chattel slavery. And then when I tell you exactly what makes American chattel slavery different from British chattel slavery, you don't come up with any facts to disprove what I'm saying. You don't
We're not
provide
even gonna
any
get on
facts that
Janae.
it
disproves what I'm saying.
sounds like
We're
a
not even gonna
language
go to
barrier because
generics.
if you both are saying the same things,
that mean he
It ain't
doesn't
a language
understand
barrier.
it
It's
in
an
your way.
ignorant. It's an arrogance barrier.
Misogyny.
He
It
is
was
being
misogyny.
arrogant. He
He's
wants to
trying to
be
prove to
right.
us that they had
He
the same
wants to
experience,
prove to
but they
me.
did not.
He wants to shut me down. He wants to prove me wrong. He wants an opportunity to make me wrong and say that he knows more and that he's the more educated person. That had nothing to do with
Yeah.
him actually trying to contribute to the conversation. Had everything with him wanting to prove
Exactly.
that he is better than me and that he needs to
Yeah.
educate and school me on something, even though we're agreeing to the same fact. He won't succeed that we're
Exactly.
agreeing because he wants to be right over me. That's
He
literally
wants
all
to
that's
be. He wants
about.
to make it clear that they've had the same experience as Black Americans when you have not. That's
And
the
he hasn't.
that's the
Nothing
disconnect.
similar. Yeah.
Yeah, their
That's the
similarities,
disconnect.
their overlaps, that is for sure. But the one thing that no one can ever say is that the people in the Caribbeans, in Haiti, in Africa were never taught that they were enslaved because they were black or because they were born slaves. They knew that they were captured and they were
Exactly.
prisoners from Africa. They knew this.
And them
They
themselves
knew.
will let you know every chance they get that, oh, I know where I'm from. And the first thing they say when they get offended with a Black American is, oh, you were a slave. And they want to be like, oh, but where you really from? Because it was different. You cannot sit
It
here
was
and try to play
different.
both sides of the fence.
And that's
You
not to
can't try to
take
play
away
both
the
sides
fact
of the
that
fence
there are
now.
similarities. That's not taking away the fact that there
You
were
can't try to
similarities
claim
and that
like
we
you like
all
us, but then
suffer.
when you mad, you not like us. Like you
And it's
not like
not,
us, and
and
then
I
when
just
you
want to be
mad,
clear about
like
that because
girl,
we're not trying to suggest that they did not go through it. They went through something. They went through chattel
exactly,
slavery. They had their experience, but they freed
absolutely.
themselves. They freed themselves. And then that became the end of their story. And then they had a new fight. Meanwhile, we were still being
They
enslaved.
were not a
And because of
product
the
of
actions
slavery.
that the Haitians and the Jamaicans did, because of their actions, America decided to adapt a new type of slavery in an effort to prevent that type of riding up to happen over here. So the chattel slavery that
Exactly.
America had to adapt to what was going on in Jamaica and Haiti to make sure that never happened again. So I'm sorry, we got a new person on the panel. I want to give them an opportunity to come in. D Bestman, and then y'all, I'm gonna have to end this panel. I've had so much fun. I'll be back later.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you. Okay, go ahead, D Bossman. D Bossman. D dot Bestman. Is it D dot Bestman? Sorry, y'all. I'm dropping y'all just in preparation of ending the live. D Bestman, is you there? D dot Bestman or Bestman? No, Bestman. Hello. Okay. Going once. Going twice. D dot Bestman, are you there? Okay, I'm gonna drop you down for now, and all right, y'all. Probably gonna be wrapping this up. I was planning on ending at 8 o'clock, and it's 8:49 now, but yeah, I don't like how he came up here and derailed the last conversation. I really hate when people come up here and try to die on a hill of arguing semantics, because that's really what that was about. He wanted to argue the origins of chattel slavery versus what chattel slavery evolved into. And I'm not here to be playing the games with semantics. At the end of the day, historians have said it. This ain't my opinion. Historians have said that American chattel slavery was unique and one of a kind. Historians said that. Who am I to argue with them? Okay? Who am I to tell the historians that they're wrong and that no, it was like every other type of slavery? Like, if the historians are telling us that American chattel slavery was unique and one of a kind, who are we to tell them that they're wrong? Jamaica is not freeing the king is head of state. Yeah, you're probably right. Willie Lynch was in the Caribbean first. Okay, I don't get that. Derek, I'm gonna let you up here, but I'm ending the live here shortly. So, say what you gotta say, and then
Homeboy drops his donuts, though.
oh, that's cute. That's cute. So, Paper slavery. Okay, he claimed was British made America, so since they immigrated, they're like us. Yeah, that's not the same. Da, 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 da. On top of that, America is made up of several types of European nations. Now, America is a multicultural country, and all of these cultures are influencing each other and bouncing off of each other. So, yeah. Anyways, my final thoughts on the whole Druski skit situation is I think that, it was a hilarious sketch. I think that it was a really funny and lighthearted way to poke fun at a topic that has been really seriously had in the Black community for some time. I'm not here to say that the answer is that no Black British person should ever play a Black American role. I don't think that that's the solution, but I do believe that Black British actors have to be more aware of the way that white supremacy will weaponize their talents against Black American people. And I think that Black British people have to be more mindful about using their spaces and their platforms in the way that champions the Black people who came before them and the Black people who will continue to come up after them. Because, we want to create Hollywood as a revolving door of Black talents. We want Black people to come in, and we want new Black people to be able to come in. We want there to be opportunities and spaces for all of us. And the only way that's going to work is if we continue to push back whenever there's stereotypes or biases about Black people that Hollywood uses to justify passing over or discriminating against certain groups of Black peoples for roles. And this isn't something that, Black British people or foreign British people have to work at. This is something that Black Americans also have to work at. Black people who, Black American actors and are producers who go out of their way to cast a light-skinned actor when the role called for a dark-skinned actor are part of the problem just as much. So I'm not going to say that it's all one person's anything. Okay, I hope that helps y'all. I'll be back on here in probably about an hour or so. I'm gonna go cook dinner, and then I'll be back. I'm not sure if I'm gonna come back with the Druski topic. I think I'm gonna talk about Abba from Abba and Preach and the fact that he abandoned his baby mama. So yeah, if you're interested in that topic, catch me in my next live. Peace. TTFN.
Am I really that much to handle? Breaking these niggas down like a camera. You don't really know you.